Okay, I guess everyone can see my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay, so Lal, this is my, let's say, ComfyUI, and this workflow is working for me, and I would want to save this for future. And let's say it is not saved on any drive, and I want to save within ComfyUI. All you have to do is Control Save. Something happened. I'm getting this ping of okay, save as, and then see, I have already named it multiple image reference, and all I have to do is hit confirm. Because it's save, it is asking if I want to overwrite. I would still do that. And when I touch here, it will get saved here the way you see all my workflow.
Okay.
See, so
Okay,
it's
great.
as
Thank you.
simple as that. I understood your
Mhm.
question, that is there a way to install within the folder of ComfyUI, but there is no, I haven't saved that way. All my workflows are saved that this way. And you can also see the folder here because again, it's handy for me not to jump to any other folders in my system. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Now, yesterday, we had, I think we talked about IP adapter node and the use cases for more than 1.5 hours. It initially worked by giving the reference, which is the main job of IP adapter node to do, to give the reference and to generate images accordingly, the way sref works in MidJourney and any other tool. I was trying to explain them that how the mask works. There is other way which is far more accurate than the masking in this particular workflow, which is called in painting. But that is a completely new workflow that we're going to discuss. The main focus also to understand each parameters that we have in every node that we are sharing over here. So initially we had this attention mask option open, and I tried to explain during the workshop, and there was some technical issue, it couldn't work. So the only difference that I have from yesterday's node to today is to add another load image window here. Before we jump into that, as I mentioned yesterday, that IP adapter is something that you will need a lot, because as designer, we have lots of references to guide the final output. And IP adapter is the way to go with it, since we don't have any other parameters to guide our render. So in Comfy, there is one easy way. As far as you have the template and you get used to it, again, it's very easy. But let's say during your practice, you want a blank canvas, and you are trying to look for IP adapter model loader, and you go one by one. If that's a hassle, there is a way that you can select by control, hold control, select these four, uh, let's say, select this group. These are just the nodes. So basically, IP adapter runs with these three inputs. Right click, and you have node template option, and you have add group option. Sorry, I think I explained already the group option. What you can do is select, uh, give me a second. Okay. Um, so now what you have to do is to click on convert to group node. Okay, I was making a mistake to clicking outside. You have to make sure you click within one of the node, and by right click, you will get convert to group node. What this does is, I would just say this is IP adapter. This is something else. Sorry. Let's not complicate now. This is easy when you use this often so that you don't see much of the window. All you can do is to click and there is an option called collapse. So you can just open it. There is one option here which says you can convert this as a group. And all you have to do is when you have a blank space and when you click on a node template, you can find the entire group. See here. So if I click on sketch, see I have entire group which works as a sketch. So that's what I'm trying to explain. One second, my sister. Just give me 2 minutes, guys. It should work with convert to group node. Okay, let me figure this out when we take a break and I'll explain this. So coming back to the main use case of IP adapter mask, let's say I have different furniture and I have a scene. It could be a photo, it could be a render, overall scene. And let's say you want to show your client that if we buy this set of furniture, usually we use the mood boards now to do this. We can still render. And as you can see in this render that this table is appeared and we do have something which looks like this sofa. You can always adjust the weight and have the complete render showing all the furniture. This is what IP adapter mask does. So to do that, all I did was, let's make sure that you block this and you put a scene, editorial photography, interior design of a living room. Again, when you have the picture with certain color or fabric or composition, make sure your prompt matches to that, because what happen if I just put the velvet sofa, it will show me a velvet, but there is no guarantee that it would be in the same color. And when you have a reference and it doesn't match in terms of, because the color and material is the first thing you're going to notice and the second is the shape of it, you may feel that you're not achieving the great results with it. So make sure that, let's say I have a table which is with a wooden top and a metal base. So I have indicated that okay, I need orange velvet sofa, wooden coffee table top with the metal round base. I would write modern style because initially when there is no style indicated, it will follow the way the model of your checkpoint turns out. So if there are so many, let's say, models or reference in the model that you're using, initially I was getting lots of planters in image and it was making my photo a little messy. So try to also manage to mention the style over here. Composition, I want big arch window, again minimalistic, to make sure that I don't get unwanted object or I make my scene too cluttered. I have mentioned the camera name and then I render. Now this result that we will get here, it is without any reference, without any IP adapter. It's not attached because I have bypassed it. It's not active right now. Okay, good. So we got arch window. The picture is clean because we kept telling it to make sure that it's minimalistic and it's modern style, so we don't see too much happening. I think we have this big arch window which is also completing the scene showing the garden outside. Now, I would still render this because let's see a couple of image and see what we can use to get the best result. Because I would want to also discuss the denoise, how it works, because in yesterday's workflow, it wasn't playing much of the role. But here it has some good control. Okay, I would like to do something in this because my input image is also a straight sofa. As far as my input is straight sofa, and let's say as per your layout or as per your client requirement or a space that you're putting this sofa, you may need L shape. So there is no restriction as such, but this composition was completely drastic. I'm gonna mask this out and try also, but let's say I'm not so sure that how it will react. So let's see both of them. So initially, I'm gonna select everything and open. This is the sofa I want in my scene. This is the table, or let's see, I would say a green sofa because we already have orange sofa in the scene.
Krishna,
Just
may I
make
ask a question?
sure.
I joined the session a little bit late, so I missed that part. Which model are we using right now as the base
IP
models?
adapter, the SDXL.
SDXL, okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, Celine. Today again I faced a problem to show one command. Again, I'm not able to find to group all the nodes. So I have noted it down that I will have to look for it and make sure that I show you guys how grouping works. It's exactly like saving the template of workflow, but what if you don't want to save entire workflow and you only want to save one sort of group? Because that's the group, let's say IP adapter is 80% that you're gonna infuse with all of your workflow during SDXL use cases. So you don't want every time to drag each model and change it, and you want to use that particular thing uh, as a template. So that's what we discuss, and again, I have to make sure that we find a solution to that. So now this is my sofa. Again, I would make sure that because this sofa is green, I will take this picture as my reference. All I did was open my queue and I have drag and dropped it here. When we want to use this, you can do the same. You can drag and drop. Let's drag and drop. I'm going back to my prompt, interior design of a living room with green velvet sofa. Now, we are not rendering this entire scene. We render this, we are trying to guide it to add this particular pieces of furniture within the scene. So all I have to do is initially IP adapter looks like this for you guys. Okay, I'll keep this away. Now this is what you have. This is what we discussed yesterday, correct? This is all our basic workflow. This is what we discussed yesterday. I was making I was missing one step yesterday to add one more image. And I will tell you why it's very important. Because this is just a sofa. You already have your scene ready. All you want to do is to make sure that instead of this orange sofa, you have this particular piece going there. So it is very important. This is just the output. It is very important for us to add this scene underneath the reference. And your mask is supposed to be attached to the attention mask. So what you're telling Comfy is, hey, I have this image, which is sofa, which could be, let's say, anything. I want this scene as my base picture, but I have masked out the area. So just pay the attention and have this image pasted there. So you are giving very clear logical instruction without changing anything from here. Just make sure that you click on the image and open mask editor. And we gonna mask out. Again, this is very bad masking if you leave, because believe me, this wing of this cushion gonna show. So don't get scared while you're masking to go little further away from your object. Give it a room so that your image can blend properly. Usually what I do is I make sure that when we do the masking, and if you're, let me show you this way. If you're, let's say, you may want to do masking this way. Okay. And you want to only mask the legs out. Is this a right way or wrong way? It is okay, as far as you are clear in your mind that my sofa is completely upholstered, I don't have open leg, but I like the composition, let's say the structure, more squarish and it is sleek. What Comfy usually does is you won't get this part and you may end up getting the opening the way you have in the orange sofa, and you will only get the top part because that's how you mask it, which is also good if you only want to show the color option. But let's say you have a completely different furniture option, make sure while you mask it, mask the entire area for the sofa to sit to the area you want. So this is the practice I do. So sometime you will see my results works better, and if you use that same workflow, you don't get it, and then you feel like, okay, Krishna, why it's not working for us? But the reason is this small detail. If you just pay
There is
attention to it. Yes, Khan?
there is a little bit question. Mimar Korhan
Sure.
asks, where is the manager? He said he asked from the ComfyUI workshop WhatsApp group.
Okay. So in his ComfyUI there is no manager tool? Can he confirm? Because when you say manager, I'm assuming he's asking for this manager tool over here.
Probably yes.
Yeah, because if it's not there, there is again a GitHub thing to resolve this problem. Usually
Okay, I will
it's
support him I will share the links from the WhatsApp group. You should download separately from the GitHub page if it doesn't install with the setup.
Yeah, in 85% it should come, especially with the new UI. This issue was only for the old Comfy, and therefore they had this. Maybe he could just reinstall or overwrite the files and see if, yeah.
I will just send the manuals from the WhatsApp group. If he can just follow from there and have any problems, he can directly get in contact with me as well.
Sure. And Khan and Celine, please help me if anyone writes anything into the group or the chat here, because I'm really not looking at our Meet screen. I'm completely focused on my screen so you guys also can see fully. Okay?
We will assist you.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Again, I don't want you to get confused with this. Let's block it for now and see how the sofa comes up with. And you will not get result in first attempt for sure. So don't stop yourself exploring. As far as the system is good, you won't need to wait that much of time. So I would recommend render it for 3-4 times at least, because that will improvise the speed, and again somehow it makes the Comfy thing understand the thing that you're trying to do. Now, this is where I wanted to explain the denoising work. You see the entire scene has changed now. So you gave something like this, and it changed to this thing. If you just put side by side, what has changed is I think it got the entire view got little closer. The chair is gone. The table similarly is there. I see the lamp has improvised. So I'll tell you, this is why they have in painting, because you don't want this scene to be changed entirely. So that's the main use of introducing the workflow of focus in paint, because that will only focus on the area that you're masking out. IP adapter mainly is to work around the reference. So be ready that your scene around also would get modified while you are trying the different workflow. Yet there is another way to try and tweak your denoise, because when you have denoising one, which means again you are telling your render engine that it's completely noised out and you have full freedom to go pixel by pixel and change everything. The lesser the denoise, it will push the original image as it is and try to overwrite something on top of it. So it's like it works. Consider a tracing paper, and then you have a layout underneath. As far as you want to follow that layout and do something else on top with the tracing paper, you will have the the tracing paper is little more transparent, but imagine you are putting a hard paper on top of it and you don't mind that, okay, if it completely change, I don't mind. Here also it is changing completely. So again, there is no need to spend more time of keeping this as it is and keep trying on this, because that we will cover in painting. But as far as you are getting, I'm happy with this result. I'm happy that we got this sofa and this picture. So I would stick to that. Let's re-render again and see. Again, this is not masked out. When you don't have a fully rendered image with you, it is just on a conceptual stage where you are trying to explain client that, okay, I want this sofa, this table, and we will have white wall. You already have arc window. I'll add some planter. Usually the practice is to drag and drop into the Photoshop and do the mood boarding thing. So this is like that. But instead of individually showing them the mood board, you are trying to show the entire scene, or I would say the environment of it. So just make sure now that I have this image here, and this is the render. I cannot clash by masking this image. I have to make sure that I use the image that is came as an output. I would still try to mask this out and explain you what I mean by that. So we have this image. I'm going into mask editor. By the way, this image and the other reference that we have are the final output for the sofa render. So your one use case of of IP adapter to get the masking is done. What I want to also explain, you can also have multiple objects change into scene, so you don't get to lose your main scene by keep changing the sofa. Then you put the table and the scene change. Then you put the side table and the scene change. Then you have light and again you change everything. You rather stick to one image that you like. You have the sofa masked out. Then I will just show you how I built this. Again, you need another IP adapter. Oh, sorry. You need another, let's say I'll copy paste IP adapter. Yesterday, we talked about adding those, but then I also realized that we do have chance of, instead of adding clip vision and model loader to this group, simply you can use the same model and attach here. So it is attached to this. If you can see, guys, this IP adapter is attached to this as well as this loader. Same thing goes with the clip vision. So now you have two engine attached to two model which are running those engine, or let's say guiding those engine. You cannot attach the same image because this time you have different reference for the different purpose. So I'll show you model again, because this model is directly, let me delete this for any confusion. I would still use this table, so I'm going to delete this too. This is my image. This is my reference image. So I have to attach here, but then I want the area to mask out that where I want this table to go. So I'm going to copy and paste the load image. You can manually do that as well, just by clicking here and typing load image node. And then again, you have to go back to your folder. So usually what I do is copy paste. Now, if you attach this mask to attention mask, you are giving it a wrong information, because this is for the sofa. You want this table to be here against the sofa. So like normal practice, just right click on it and go to mask editor. When you click clear, you will get back to the original image. Once you do that, simply mask the area. Now intentionally, instead of masking this way, if you wrongly, let's say you mask out the area somewhere here, let's say, and you want to revise it, do not cancel everything. Just go to clear button and you'll get back to normal image. So intentionally, I'm gonna mask the top like this and the base, because the table reference that I have also have similar sort of shape. If it is square table and it is sitting on the carpet completely without the leg, I'm gonna select and create a complete rectangle. So it gets the area to perform same as the shape that we are guiding it to go with. Save. So now the different, yeah.
Can I ask you something, Krishna? I was
Sure,
going to
sure.
ask the similar thing. Let's say that we want a sofa like with a taller back seat. So we should mask something more taller than the original sofa, yeah?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. The only thing is, by doing that, you are also allowing it to be little creative to change the proportion of it. Because in real world, if let's say you want this sofa to be with the taller back, probably it could be, let's say, straight. But if the sofa has a curve like this, or it's in curve layout wise, there are chances that you get some distorted object. Practically, I would like to try that and show, so we understand. Okay,
Okay,
we
thank you.
will try that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now simply this made our life easier. We don't have to copy paste this again and again. It works for, let's say you have 5 more objects. Do not go back. Yes, you do need 5 IP adapter advanced, but you don't need model loader. You can connect all your extra models with it. And you have to make sure that you have 2 images. One is your reference, one your base image, and make sure you are masking only that area that you want your object to go with. But wherever you stop giving the reference, let's say I don't have any other reference, I only want to change this to. So this is my endpoint. So now this IP adapter is connected to K-sampler. All you have to do is to attach this way. And therefore I'm telling, put everything into group so you can have the space out, and always organize your nodes as such that you will understand that what is coming after what. So again, if you get stuck, you have, okay, I would put this as reference 2. And what Mr. Sadiq has asked, it makes sense when you have a straight sofa reference, but what if I want this in L shape? So remember we had this curve sofa, let's try to mask this out with this sofa and see if it follows the squarish composition with the base and change the shape. Because if we achieve that, it's a great thing, because that's what we also do when you show a picture from internet to client, or let's say you have a catalog. Basically, you are trying to tell them two things. One is we get the same, or one we customize something similar to that. So on those rendition cases, these are the basic usage of ComfyUI. Okay, I forgot to attach this model. You see it, the main model is attached to IP adapter 1. You see the string, it's here, and it's also attached to this now. So those are the basic attachment that we need, no matter how many references that we add. I'm expecting the entire scene to change, but with the result that I would at least get this table kept against that sofa. That's the target, and that's the possibility with this workflow that we are trying to achieve. Okay, it gave me L shape, and let's keep rendering.
But
I think because
why we didn't connect the first IP adapter's output to anything? How it
this one?
understands it? Yeah, yeah.
Oh
this one.
yeah.
It should be connected, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's see again. Since yesterday this is happening, usually it's supposed to show the error, because you can't put any left node open going to the right side, but it's somehow rendering. I also want to check that, okay, the weight here is 90, so we are not 100% asking it to render something similar. Let's try to put 1 and see what result we get. I really like this composition it came up with, but I'm losing it and I don't remember the seed number now, guys. So that's where we always have to focus, because those seed number would help us to get back the same image. I think I have here, it's just increasing. It's changing. I would also want to see editorial photography with green velvet sofa, wooden modern. I would say the plaster walls with artwork behind the sofa. It's just a verbal discussion of, this is killing me, this proportion. Let's see if we can play with. And I promise I have seen results when you keep following the same path, the same image, just keep trying it. Somehow it gets better. As I mentioned yesterday, see, it started. All I did was to tweak the weight. I thought by giving more weight, it will give me exact, but right now when I'm trying to reduce it, it is still giving me something better than the previous image. You see, it changed our wall to plaster. Now arc window is gone. And also one thing to add here, right now I'm using the juggernaut. if I use any other model, again, I'm expecting some different results with it. So do not stop yourself again before you save this file to present to your client. If you feel that it's 90% same, give it a try by changing another checkpoint. Just make sure if this is SDXL, just go and make sure this is SDXL. And then see, maybe you will get something more than 80%. So don't stop there. Like before this AI thing came into picture and we used to render manually with V-Ray and 3D Max and all other software, I'm sure every one of you understand the term post-production, right? So AI will never give you, these are never could be the very final image for your presentation. Always be ready to take this picture to in-paint and tweak the table if you are not getting here. Maybe you have to upscale it. Maybe you have to go to Photoshop and clean some extra. Let's say I don't want this table. So be ready to do the post-production. That's the one thing I wanted to point out here. Now that I change the real Excel model, it is not giving me the same thing as my prompt. It added more objects. It took my white wall. So which means this model with my setup is not working. Maybe I'll try one more model. By the way, the link that we shared on Google Drive, I did not added this because I wanted to try with you guys live and then share. So I'm going to share this on our WhatsApp group. And we will just call this workflow multiple image reference. This is not working at all. I would go back to my Juggernaut because that was performing really well. I won't go back to too much detail, but yesterday, if you remember, we tried in one window, you can try multiple checkpoints. Please do that when you start working on any project and make sure that the one which give you the closest result of your prompt will always give you the best result with any addition that you infuse, whether it's control net, whether it's IP adapter. So stick to that model for particular project that you are doing. What is good, what is bad? I only have Juggernaut and Real Excel working best so far for me. So I don't experiment. Since Flux came, I think I use only this two model and then I use Flux. I'm happy with this so far. This need tweak, but this can go on. Before I close this workflow, I will try to mask this more and see if we could answer Mr. Sadiq's concern. I would, let's say, mask this to see if this gives us a L shape. I want this to be straight. Later on, we will look to see what happens with the table. Let's run this. And you guys see that I use these tools on daily basis, like it's really part of my workflow. But you see live that I have to go through so many tweaks and trials and errors. So that's how this thing works. With Flux, it's better. I feel that we have more control. But yeah, keep practicing this, because if you get, let's say this is the hardest thing, and if you achieve, the rest becomes very easy and handy for you. Again, we did not get the L shape, the proportion did not change. Maybe, Mr. Sadiq, because the weight here is 1. So let's say we give this a 60. So again, you are allowing it to go beyond the proportion and the shape of this. When you give 100%, it will play within that. So see, again, I would consider this as a mistake, that you change here, but you did not allow it to change completely. You are not giving it full authority. So that's where you did not get the result. Then try again. So there is always a logic, guys. And since you have everything in group, probably you're gonna find if you tweak this much, you should get the result. You tweak here and you should get this there. That's
So
what I would.
it's not the weight of the mask, but it's weight of the reference images.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Because I gave a strong 100%. I need that sofa is what I told it. And I would say parallel. It works parallel. You have to give it a freedom to go beyond what you have commanded here. We are still getting. Let's see. I would also try to denoise, because again, what this does is it will give it a layer extra noise to go free. One is like 100% change. No, it is still the same. Let's try this for one more time. Let's say I want this to go here as L shape. I want the sofa in here. Let's see if we get something that we want to. As I said, if you want something so particular without changing anything, in Paint is the option. But this is to show that how multiple reference image can create a scene rather than showing them a white mood board with floating images of the sofa and this table. You can also attach one reference that, okay, the sofa will look this against your arc window, and they can understand that we already tried to render something or help them to visualize in more depth. That's it. Yeah, so see, we started getting the L shape because we mask it. So this is where, see, we will get there for sure if we keep more practicing. So I will share this workflow to you guys, and please try to tweak. And if you feel, whenever you feel that, okay, I was trying to get this and this is the image and I'm happy with the overall outcome, please share to the group. Now, yeah, that's it for IP adapter reference work. Last night, as I said, I was trying to achieve something and show you guys that what mistake we made yesterday, and somehow my system wasn't working. I still had that orange sofa, and I'll show you the result I've got with it. I'll show you in painting. Let's see. This is one thing I wanted to share. See, I masked something with really wrong image reference, and see the result. So I did not change my prompt also during this scene that I want the L-shape sofa. It was circle sofa, and it couldn't understand, and I masked. And Mr. Sadiq, if you can notice, I have masked up to here. See? Because the wall seems faded.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah, so these are the trial and error. Even here, I was not able to achieve anything. I completely failed. So, yeah, this is somehow this is where I was happy and excited that I got the result I want, because if you notice, I was able to keep the arc exactly to the side of the sofa facing the garden. This was my reference sofa. This is my reference table. And in 40 seconds, I was able to get something which I thought, okay, if I have this, so find this table to show client that, hey, I have a plan to have this against this, I would show them this picture to give them idea about overall environment. Yeah. So this is how the IP adapter reference thing works. And then we will jump into the in-painting stuff. So I'm going to download this workflow. Let's name it. I would say multiple reference IP adapter. And Celine, are we sharing on ComfyUI group, or I can share in general?
Selen is not here, so what do you want me to do? Okay.
She
Uh,
is helping to someone, but
Yeah.
we can share it also.
Can I share on the same? This is ComfyUI workshop. I'm sharing on
Yeah.
ComfyUI workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is again multiple images. SDXL. I would still put this so we don't get confused with the reference to Flux thing. Okay.
Would you like me to put it in the workshop files folder also to the drive?
Yeah. Please. That would be great help. Yeah.
I can do it for you. Okay.
Thank you. So far, anyone, any questions? Please write those in the comment. Any suggestion? If you guys have ever tried working on such workflow and you have achieved something and you have tweaked it as such, please feel free to advise. We are open for any suggestions and questions.
I have added the file with the same name
Okay.
in the drive.
Okay, great.
The link is pinned in the chat. Just make
Okay.
you reminded. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So again, this is not the end of possibility with SDXL models. Guys, I'm moving to the next workflow, which is now again another strong fundamental of ComfyUI, or I would say Stable Diffusion, which is control net. So I'm gonna open the I can open it from here. This time, let me try to show you sketch to render with control net with architectural reference. And we will also talk about much more of it here. Don't get overwhelmed by this. It's just a copy paste because I was trying to show you how good input and bad input term works into the ComfyUI. And I think it applies to every AI or software that you use to render or generate your images. Basically, always we have the default workflow. It doesn't change. Those are the very requirement basics of it. So I have my checkpoints. I have positive, negative prompts, K-sampler and VA codes. Here in size, you will have some different nodes instead of empty latent image. I will explain in a bit. I have added a node called image comparer. To look for it, all you have to do is on a blank canvas again, just type image comparer and you will have this ready. Now, what this simply does, as it is mentioned in the name, that it will compare your image before and after. So when you are giving an input to Comfy to stick with it, that Khalas, I don't want to change the complete scene. This is my scene and play within it, render my sketch, render my 3 references. That's where ControlNet comes into it. It will understand the structure, the lines, the composition, the depth of your model, and play within it. Basically, try to create a texture and an environment so you don't have to take this into a manual rendering and spend time to adjust the light, the sky, again, the textures. So this is the strong use-cased workflow. How to make this active is you have the endpoint is your VAE code. This will go to your save image. This is a very important one. And when you have your image, let's say this is my input. So I have to make sure that my input is connected on the top of image A. Why? Because that's the base image. I want that to on top. So when I explain anyone that look at the comparison of what I have achieved, they're going to see the input first and then the output. There is again no right and wrong. It could swap, but this is the practice that I have developed, that I want this on top. So even if when I'm posting something on social media, I can show them before and after. So always have image A connected to the input that you have given, and image B would be your render, which will come from the VAE because that's your final render code. So from now on, any node that any workflow that we use, we will make sure that we have image comparer so you can always compare the result. So that was one thing I wanted to share. As you can see, again, we have our group of IP adapter, because whether I have sketch or I have a 3D model, which is not yet rendered, I want to guide, I need a reference that, okay, create a scene where it's snowy and it's, let's say, a morning time or an evening time. So we should have a reference for it. So again, whenever you have reference, the IP adapter comes in. The main change now to the basic workflow and the IP adapter here is to apply the ControlNet. So as the name says, ControlNet does catch the edges of your model and do the work. So all you have to do to look for it is just to put the ControlNet, apply ControlNet. You will get this model now. It is very clear. It is asking you to attach your positive and negative prompt. So this should go. On other side, you have positive and negative, which are connected to your K sampler. Then you have ControlNet. Now again, same as IP adapter. You had IP adapter model loader. Here you have ControlNet model loader. All you have to do is drag, and it will immediately ask you to connect the ControlNet loader. Manually, it is simple. All you have to do is look for ControlNet model loader. So you will get the same node. So there are 2 ways. If you know that this should attach to the ControlNet model, simply double click and type. Or if you are confused and you're trying and you're not sure, try to just click and then leave it loose to the open canvas, and it will ask you the option that it could get attached to it, and everything has a different use cases. In our case, all we need is to make sure that the model is attached to it. So you have this connection, you have positive, negative, and then you have the image. So we need load image here. So this will be your image, positive, negative, VAE again, because it requires to noise and denoise. It's the easiest one. It is always into your checkpoint. So this should go in here, and then positive and negative. So that's how simply you have created a group of your ControlNet model loader. Now for image here, what we have attached here is ControlNet is not limited to a term or a model called Kenny. Basically, what Kenny does is to understand the line of any photo that you give. Let's say I have this villa here, okay, and I will try to bypass all this, and I want to see how much the Kenny, which is expert model to understand the lines in your picture. It could be sketch, it could be 3D, it can be image, it can be a human face as well. And just enter and it will render. See, it catches the line. So instead of image, what we are trying to do here is between your image and the ControlNet model, you have one more node attached. You need a model to understand that what you want from this image. So all you want is to make sure that it understands the basic structure. Now you see all this point, it caught from this, let's say, water ripples, and there are little textures here and there. You can also control this, and to make it more clean or make it more noisy from the Kenny, okay, to find the Kenny, simply go Kenny and you get it here. So now, instead of, there is one interesting thing here. Okay, because my dot here is blue and I have this blue, yes, we are able to connect this directly. But unless you don't add Kenny between those, it will not get clear instruction that, hey, I want my image to be only as a line, and then because I'm trying to change the structure, or let's say I'm trying to render my image or my sketch. So we have to make sure that you have that added. So this is how the workflow should work. This is how we have built this group. Now, the threshold is something that you can play with. The higher threshold will give you the higher detail of Kenny. It's vice versa. It reduces too much of line. The lower you go, the more it will follow. So sometime I have noticed that it makes the 3D, I think, I'm not sure if the same designer is with us today in the workshop. He said he's trying to use the ControlNet and he's getting distorted result, and it's too many things are happening in his scene. So this is the answer. Lower threshold gets you every detail of your photo or sketch. So you see, wherever there are bumps and textures and line, Kenny will try to understand everything and try to draw it here for you. And what it does is when you try to render, it will give texture to everything. And sometimes it ends up into not so clean or result that you desire. So in my experience, I'm always within the range of 40, 45, and this usually what I do, I go like 15 points more for the high threshold, and my low threshold is always 45 or 40. In that case, this will be 55. So as you can see, it's not too plain like the 20, and it's not too detailed the way we saw the other image. Now I would like to change this and not confuse the render by giving other render. So let me get to the sketch. Okay, I saved 2 sketches. This to show you a comparison with this sketch. So let me make sure that everything is open right now. Now this is where I wanted to discuss the bad input and good input. If you notice this sketch, it is nicely done, but it has extension lines and some hatches behind it. Now, what ControlNet does will try to understand every line into the scene and try to interpret in the language of the model that you are using. unless you write that, okay, it is in the jungle or bushes, it will still try to come up with the environment around it. But if those lines doesn't make much sense for us, it is just to hatch and highlight the villa, right? To show more depth, usually we try to sketch around it so that the object, especially with white color, would stand out from the white background. But let's see what Kenny does with it. I have already tried and I have result to show, but I would love to render it live. Okay, so the threshold value here is 4060. And see, I did that after a couple of attempts because I don't see those hatches here, but it is getting confused with this line, you see, and it is taking this line from the shadows. So let's see the result. Guys, I would prefer you to share your concern or any question while this rendering is happened, so we can, keep engaging and utilize the time. So far, if it's all clear, let me know. If any confusion, please feel free to ask. Yeah, see? So let's go to my prompt. I told it that I want a raw picture of a residential building in a city. I want beige stone, facade with panels, modern style, winter, snowy, evening, long exposure, short and street level view. Against my prompt, all I did was giving it a large picture, a close-up shot where it is not showing the street. It doesn't show that it's in middle of the city. It's completely covered in ice. Let's say I like the dusk environment, and I'm asking it to render. This is the before and after comparison. So here you see what it rendered. So as you can see that this shadow, it considered as a stone. It understood as an, and it completely messed up. This is not what I want. The cantilever came from somewhere. It is because my steps are high here, so it will always try to add stuff and think that it is enhancing our thing. I will still try to change the my steps, lower it, and let's see if this works for us. But for me, if you ask me, the sketch itself is a bad input because first of all, when you zoom into 100%, it's pixelated. There are lots of extension line. This hatch doesn't make sense for Kenny to understand that these are not the object, but it's just the way of presentation. Against this, I pick another image to show you guys, and I would consider this as a good input because it's very clean. We understand the composition. This can work as pavers or interlock. This can work again as a polished stone, or maybe we can add another line here and make it work like a pool. This clearly shows because the depth is good enough. From here also it will catch that, okay, this is a sky, this is a, let's say, a curtain wall, and then you have balcony, and it basically it's clear compared to here. It's nice overall, but this is considered as not good input. So let's say this is hand drawn. This is completely show that it's done maybe in SketchUp, and they have just took as a 2D image. In case if you have napkin sketch, what you can do is try to not add the shadow, not add the extra line, or take this image and try to clean, erase all this extra stuff, and then see if that works for you. So I'm not saying that don't use the hand sketch and always use the 2D model sketch, but just make sure whatever you sketch, your input has to be very clear for anyone to understand, any model to understand what you are trying to achieve. So now I have this. Let's try to render.
Krishna,
Oh.
we have a question in the chat. Gayatri asked that what does the resize image node do actually in the workflow? Why is it necessary?
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah,
I think there's also
yeah.
another question. It came up right
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah, what if we use a photograph or a SketchUp screenshot as input image? Would it be good input? Yeah, perfectly. And that's what I'm trying to explain. Gayatri, this is a SketchUp model. Look at the Kenny itself. So first of all, even without looking at render, when you see that it traced your input, you can see it's very clean. Of course, it's gonna play here, everywhere based on your prompt and your reference image, because you have gave it a freedom to do that, or let's say you are commanding that to use. But overall, it's clean input. So that's number one. Your first question was about the image resize. I will tell you about it. When you don't have image resize, here I change the latent. Usually in normal latent, you used to see that you have to manually change, right? Let me show you here. It's a good question, actually, Gayatri. It's very important one. Now, you have this empty latent. What we used to do here is manually type that, okay, we want rectangular image, or we want something which is square. But when I scan my sketch, or when I save my 3D render in grayscale, maybe it's not in the same pixel that I wrote, right? It's not necessary that it will be in 1024 unless I intentionally do that. Maybe it could be landscape and the camera angle, it could be portrait, it could be vertical, it could be stretch because I have the wide angle. So when you want the same exact size, now you don't know this size, right? So manually there are ways to drop this image to a Google search. I think there is a node someone has developed, but I don't want to talk about it right now because I haven't used it. I initially found it a little complicated, and I found this is easy because when you give it a resize node, it will automatically capture the length and the height of the picture. So if you put this picture on top of it, both are exact size. Now, if you see, we haven't write anything like 5121024. Instead, we converted our empty latent. Let me put this side by side so you guys understand. So simply you have to look. Okay, so now every time you use control net, which means you have the SketchUp model, you have the paper, or you have sketched something on iPad, or you have rendered the 3D model. That's the only case you're gonna use the control net because you want to render those plain 2D perspectives. Now you must look for image resize because you don't know exactly the size of it. You just took, let's say, A4. So now by heart, I don't know the pixel of A4 or A3, though I used to but since this advanced thing came, it's hard for me, or I have to Google. So easiest way is to go to image size. Now, when you put this beside your picture, it is asking you to attach a blue dot, which is pixel, which means your image. Now you have another node to connect to go with the image. Now that image should go to the empty latent, but unfortunately with empty latent, there is no blue dot for you to connect, right? So let's say this is how the basic empty latent is. So now the end of this image resize have no way to get connected to anything. And these things here are the references. It has nothing to do with the final outcome. It has something to do with attaching it to K-sampler and VAE. So you have a separate group you have to create a separate group, and to get this connected, there is another node, which is get image size. So now you get the blue dot. So you attach this over here. Now again, you have to connect this dot to your empty latent, and you do have width and height, but you don't have gray dots. Here you will be clear because you have this latent. You cannot manually change because you want your image, your image resize node to trace. So simply right click. We covered this yesterday. We'll just convert this into input, and see, it automatically came gray. Sorry, I connected it to widget. Input, and you go back to height, you connect it also, and now you can easily connect, and your latent goes to your K sampler, your VAE, and you are done. So this is how these tools are built to make our life easier. What if I close this and try to render? Oh, sorry. Sometimes it works, but it is always good because let's say you want to print it, or you have a presentation slide where always everyone has a template that you'll have a landscape view, and then you have zoom in view in portrait, or you'll have it in 4:3. So that's why I always love to work with the image resize, because you don't want image to lose the, see what happened, everyone? It lost the quality, and look at the size. Why? Because we have turned off, we ask it to bypass the resize image. So this is what the resize does. There is, again, I will quickly go through the parameters. These are default. I have never tried tweaking this because as it is, we are getting good result. When you download this, you'll always get 0. This is how you get, and here it will, this is how you will get your get image resize when you download a node. What you have to change here is smaller side 1024, because that's the highest pixel with SDXL. So I want the highest to be smaller. So I'm telling it that please do not go below your maximum size. Larger, keep 0, because you are anyway asking it to trace whatever size you have from your canvas. And then resize mode, just do any. By any means anything that you see here. So again, you are giving it freedom to catch accurate proportion. And then when you render, you should get back to the exact canvas size that you have here.
Krishna, I am confused about something. If you don't use the image resize and just give it a latent space that the pixels that we want, it resizes the reference image based on that, distorts it, or what happens?
No, because SDXL's maximum capacity is 1024 by 1024. That's the size that you will get. And when that happens, you see the images are getting distorted because the input here are larger than that. So it is trying to work within the capacity of canvas your model have.
Okay.
Because you did not ask the freedom that, okay, go ahead and resize as per this and then render.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what it will do. I think I have tried that to convert this into a normal empty latent, and in empty latent maximum we can go with 1024 by 1024. So again it will create something squarish, and it may again distort your image. So get image size is again very important, because what if you have a portrait image, sorry, the vertical image. So every time you put some different canvas, you don't want to manually go and check whether your model is supported to adjust the size or no. So therefore they have this node. This is before and after. Since last evening, I'm trying to get rid of those hard lines, you see, because the strokes are so strong. I'm keep getting it. If let's say if we remove that stroke, I did not even put that the facade with the wooden louver, but see, it still understood and gave me the accurate. Look at this. You see here? Now I would take this to Photoshop and just try to soften these edges, because it's so strong. Kenny is not getting rid of it, because see, I think it is also because these two line makes it feel that, okay, this is together, and it is really highlighting it in a way that it is keep coming. Let me show you. When you reduce the control net strength, what happens. By the way, we discussed this yesterday. Every node in IP adapter or anything which works in Comfy or Stable Diffusion with giving reference has a percentage, start and end percentage. Again, this is to tell it that you want this to be with there as a reference from the point 0 to the end. You can also tell it that, hey, start when I'm 30% done and 90% done. Now, before 30% and after 90%, it will rely on what you have here. So we have tweaked it a lot. Let's see the result. Anyone else? Any question? Any doubts? Any suggestion? Because there is a workflow with 3D and render works exactly same way. I'm gonna open that and explain also in a bit. But yeah, these are the very basic workflow. If you have hands on this, believe me, you see any complicated workflow on internet, you download that and you will be able to get it in your way. All because these are the basic, let's say, method that applies to everywhere. Okay, I will bring this image next to the prompt. Okay, beige stone facade with panels. It gave me beige stone facade. There are panels. I'm not sure. It does show something here, let's say, but it's not street view, or maybe this is the street view. It's on the street road. It gave me long exposure, winter, snowy, corner view. It added those extra structure because I gave a freedom that, okay, this can be any modern residential house. So when you are sure about the sketch that it is not final, and I would want to see that what more element it could go, I want to make it creative by adding some cantilever roof on top. You play with the tweak and ask it not to exactly follow, but play around it. When you tell it to do that, it will play around it. Simple. So let's say I would put this to 0 and 1, and I'm still putting the strength as 60 of this canny. I can also, okay, this is already 60. Let's put this 1 and see what it does.
So we can also merge the workflows, right? Like we can use the IP control here, use another reference image or object, let's say, and mask it and put it in the render, right? Yeah, of course.
Of course, of course, of course. So that's the thing. If you know already the basic, you already have the IP adapter. Now IP adapter can be used as a mask and also can be used as a reference. I am only using this as a reference. Now, let's say I want to mask with something. Let's say, okay, it rendered. No, it does finish. No, okay, it is still rendering. Okay, meanwhile, let's see this. So I want IP adapter, I want click, and my model will go here, and this to go here. And what I have the image and I have the mask. Okay, so for image, let's bring
Let's put a car
people.
there. People, yeah,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
all.
Yeah. Car. Let's put the red car, like the red car. Okay, so we have the red car. So I need to load an image of a car. Okay, so this is my image and I want to do the attention mask. But for that, what I would do is, let's get back to, I will stop this. Let's back to the proper render, because when it's not exact, somehow it's bothering me. But this is
Well,
still good, you see?
yeah.
This is still good because it took a nice reference from here, and I like because see, it took a contrast basically of using a stone, wood, and white walls.
Yeah. While you're
And
also
I
waiting
like.
for it, also Gayatri has a new question, asking that, is there any something like live screen share notes with the SketchUp?
Yeah, there is. And we are still experimenting with it, Gayatri. Therefore, and it needs another session, because yes, ComfyUI is capable to integrate with many rendering software, including SketchUp, Grasshopper, the Rhino, and we will try to first get our hands on, get really accurate results, and we will get back to it. But yes, yeah, it is. There are possibility with this, with it already, and lots of architects are experimenting with that. There is one more. I think it's Japanese, because all initially ComfyUI, even if you look at their endorsement and everything, you see lots of anime. If you are aware about this term, there is one very strong it's like a mixture of Photoshop and Procreate from iPad, a software called Krita AI. That's also amazing tool where you can live sketch and then it renders along with it, and it's so amazing to see the results. So yeah, I would say your answer absolutely yes, it is there, but I'm afraid that we won't be able to cover in this workshop. Hopefully soon we'll update all of you with that. Okay, so now here's the render. Let's take the load image, and I will take this image here, and I have to put the attention mask to it. And by the way, because the road is not showing, I think I can put the car here, right? Mask editor. I think we'll put our car. I don't know how it came from snow, but let's say it was parked there and then the snow thing happened. So I'm assuming, I think it's too big. Again, this needs, guys, lots of tweaks, because it's all by your eyes and expertise to visualize. I'm doing it now random, and let's see. Do we need to add this in prompt? Obviously, yes. Let's see without adding it what happens. And let's see, I want to add it. Residential building, street view, trees. I would put right beside the road, I would put a red car parked uh, against the house. And let's see what happens.
By the way, I shared the Korea link, so if you want to check, anyone want to check?
Yeah. Mr. Sadiq, this is Kriya. What?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's Kreta. Yeah,
Kreta,
I
okay.
think. Yeah. It's Kreta, if I'm spelling right. Yeah, it's this one, Krita AI Diffusion. See, by name it is diffusion. It is absolutely compatible with it.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
going to share, and guys, please look to see these videos, and it's amazing. See, it says live painting. It has control, upscaling, resolution. So this is whole new thing to do with. I used to had a Wacom because I like to sketch things and all, but then I was more comfortable on iPad because, you know, it was quick, and Procreate introduced lots of ready-made texture. So I lost a practice. But if you have a pad which can get connected to this, it's very easy. Yeah. Yeah, this is the right one. Yeah. No, we did not get car. Instead, this became red. Okay, so now let's wait for the, I already put level view, the red car park against the house. Oh, instead of the red car park, let's say the red car on the road. Because I said against the house, it completely changed the entrance. Let me just make sure that everything is connected and we are making no mistake. Because of the time constraint, if there is anything that after a couple of attempts we cannot achieve for sure, I'm going to continue and get to make sure that we will get that perfect picture, because I can at least assure you that it is for sure possible. There is nothing which, you know, this tool have no facility to get it the way we want it. It has to be there. There is something wrong which is happening. By the way, with in painting, this can be done. I don't want you guys to get confused, but if I, instead of, okay, now what I would do, if this is my project and after a couple of attempts, because this was easy, I did it, it is not working, direct thing to do is to jump and get my focus in painting workflow and connect here with the IP adapter. Simple. And now I will show you how focus in painting works. So you'll understand why I'm saying this. And let's see if we can bring that group again here. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I just wondered, you know, if it's possible or not.
No. That's what we're doing here. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you asked. Because that definitely we have to look to see, because as I said,
Yeah.
there is no wrong workflow or right workflow. As far as we know that we can mix, match, and infuse, you are creating your workflow. So I also got inspired that, okay, someone already posted that they are generating faces to look like someone via control net, and then someone used the segment was very hard for me because the color coding needs to be done perfectly, and you should know that red color is for sofa and green for the wall. So I gave up on it and I infuse Kenny. So that's how these workflows are created. So it's amazing what we are doing, Mr. Sadiq. Okay. Not sure if is Celine with us? No.
Yeah, she's with us.
I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Do we, how would I know if I have shared this in previous workflow? The one we just shared with everyone today, because I want this to be shared now. 3D to image. No, it's not there. So I will
If you can
download
send
this.
it in the WhatsApp group, I can share with the folder also.
Okay, this is sketch to render. And guys, don't afraid also to put the napkin sketch here and try your interior or exterior images. You don't have to be so precise, as far as you can control a noise over Kenny here and give a good reference. you may expect, because see, even with the napkin sketch, you have seen lots of architects and designers just doing a rough shape like this without the final polish. So that's the whole point of using such tools and AI, that from the very scratch basic, you would get some inspiration. So then you consider yourself that, okay, you use Kenny to convert this crazy shape that you came up with. If this is applied to a building facade, what proportion it will be and how the form would be. It's like finding a form of the structure that you are trying to visualize by sketching roughly. So please try these points and feel free to share with us, for us also to understand and know. Why I feel people are silent today? Yesterday was engaging.
I think
I
we have.
personally
Yeah.
have some issues downloading some custom notes, so I'm trying to just like catch up with your speed right now.
Okay. As I said, model for sure you'll have to manually download and figure out which model we are trying. But nodes, as far as you are getting error while opening it,
Yeah,
it should be automatically show in the missing nodes model.
I installed the
Celine.
missing notes from the managers, but the ComfyUI needed a restart, so I'm just like trying
Okay.
to finish
Yeah.
from the console right now.
Okay. Okay, so we have it.
Thank you.
I am uploading it to the drive.
Okay. It's 2:43. Maybe after, let's say by 3 p.m. here, like let's say in 15 minutes, we can take 10 minutes break if
Okay.
everyone is okay with it.
Please, guys, just show thumbs up if it's okay with you as well.
Okay.
Okay. So before we go on quick break, I will also tell you that ControlNet falls under three main category. One is the Kenny, which catches the edge, and in simple language, it catches the lines of your base photo. Second is depth. So again, everyone is aware about depth. Basically, it will guide it to show that how far the object is by those shadow thing. And the third is segment. It is by understanding the color base by the pixel. So I'm gonna cover the depth now. Same workflow, checkpoint. Here I have added LoRa. I'll explain why. Because initially, in the last workflow sample, we tried to play with the IP adapter. And now that I don't have IP adapter, I thought of, okay, let's try another control net with LoRa and see how it works. There is again no wrong by adding IP adapter with depth control, but then make sure you block LoRa, because you don't want everything to clash and distort your image by confusing the model. So base image, my base image will go here. I have to upload image resize. We already explained. Now here, apply control net is exactly same as the previous workflow, but under control net model, we will, instead of choosing Kenny, we will choose the depth. Instead of Kenny here, it's depth anything, which will go between the main image and your IP adapter engine. Preview image, oh, okay. This is how you will get when you start with it. If you finish the group like this, there is no wrong. But then when you render, you will not understand that what depth it took from the input you have given. So let me give the same image. By the way, don't get confused by looking at this. These are the different models available in the Node library, all done by different developers, or I would say creators. These are the name, again, I got by reading blogs and studying some other openly available workflow. I have this workflow done this way because initially when I start, I'm not sure that which depth model works better with the input I have given. So I have this tendency to try. And then when I know that my depth anything is better than layers, usually I select and I block it. So my workflows are always attached ready as a template, and I'm going to share as it is, but that's what you should also practice, because that will make you more understand the result. I mean, to control it more. Okay. So now if I render this, I don't know what is happening when it understands the depth. To know that, I need to preview whether it is catching it in the way I want or not. So for that, the node is preview image. Simply connect. This has no role with any of your workflow. It is just there to show you in prior that your model, whether it is 1, 2, 3rd, or 4th, this is how it understood. So the way you were able to see the lines under the Kenny, you will be able to see the depth model under the preview image over here. Let me see if I need to change any setting. I'm expecting some error. See? Okay. So because I updated my Comfy, I think I haven't added the depth model. So this will always give me the problem. Let's see if that works. Because when you see the Kenny, which means you have Kenny here. Oh, I have depth. I have depth, sorry. Let me cancel this operation and try. Somehow, I don't know if anyone have noticed this, the first image when you open any new workflow take little longer. And then when you keep hitting Q after tweaks, it gets better in time. Result-wise and also the time-wise, it renders much faster. Oh, we have error here. It couldn't find the LoRa. So let's say I want to use the marker sketch, but this is SD15 and this is SDXL. So again, a problem. I need, let's say, dreamy scenario.
By the way, Krishna, we have a question from the chat box. I assume we didn't cover it yet. Are we covering Scribble ControlNet? Just wanted to know the difference between the Scrabble and the Kenny. But I guess you already answered that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I would still share a workflow of that for sure, because the system that I am on right now, there is one more thing I can help you to understand, Gayatri, here. If let's say someone doesn't have the tab to connect and let's say draw something on it or scribble it, there is one. You go to manager, go to node and look for photo fee. Yeah, see, it's not installed in my, I have it in my laptop. But what this does is, let's see if it takes time. I hope it won't affect my current outcome. Because for this, if we are good at drawing by mouse, like doodle it, you can doodle on the empty space and draw with the mouse that this is a round table, this is the sofa, and then try to render it. It really catches well. Oh, I also have a problem.
By the way, I
Okay.
just asked a stupid question of mine. When we open like workflows and somehow like some models aren't downloaded yet, are there a way to just like install them as we install it, like the missing notes, or we just like have to go to the GitHub pages each time to download the models as well?
Most probably 90% you should be able to get the model from the manager. Celine, the case where I was not able to get there is one workflow which is I shared also on internet, on social media. It is still working on my laptop, which you can attach the LLM. So all you have to do is when you put here, let's say the facade of a building in modern style, from that this LLM catches a very defined detail about how the model facade could be by giving the more idea, the way ChatGPT, you go and you just ask that you are looking for concept and give concept of parametric facade, which is made out of wood. And then it will create multiple prompts for you to understand. So to also not do that process manually, there is one node which will support LLM here. And from there, it takes the output to your case sampler and renders. I have that shared. Now from laptop, somehow I was able to download in Laptop Manager, though it's an old version. With new version here, I'm not able to find that node here. And I can't even find on Hugging Face. So every time I want to post something about it, I will flaunt that, hey, this is possible by using that on the laptop. But yeah, I need some time to figure out from where we can resource all that, because those are really interesting, points to work with. See, day by day, there are developers working, I guess, day and night to create such amazing thing. We just have to make sure that now, even if I spend 3 to 4 hours daily to research and to try, it is not enough.
It's like an open source heaven. I think in the ComfyUI site, like everybody is just like developing on their own, and your community is amazing. Like everybody is just so helpful. So everybody is just making custom nodes or just like developing some Laura's custom models and so. So we're trying to catch up with your speed, guys.
Yeah. By the time this is taking time, let's not stop this. I would just add one thing, because since no one is talking or asking questions, that's what I discuss with other architects. And I always like to mention that, like, there are tools like 3D Max, SketchUp, Blender, Grasshopper, Houdini. But when you practice and when you learn everything based on your daily requirement of project, the time and effort that required for that particular project, the time that client is giving you, the thing that your team know and support you, based on that you will evaluate and you will pick one or two, and then you will develop the system that my studio uses. Let's say we used to render a lot in 3D Max and V-Ray. Since the Enscape came into the picture before COVID, and when I started rendering in Enscape, we won lots of tenders, because when client approach other company to do the 3D rendition for their project, they used to give 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, because let's say the area was 22,000 square feet. And we told them that we can finish this in less than a week. And the other architect, when they knew that though they are having more supercomputers and more team, and why this small studio got awarded with this thing, they approached me. And for me, it's sharing. I like to share. End of the day, it's all about community. So I told them that it's Enscape because I'll be able to interactively see and render. And they had no idea that such tools are in existence. By the time we were so pro in Enscape, D5 came. And it came with more feature, you know?
Yeah.
So now, if the requirement is to show them on phone or iPad something with 360 render, we open Enscape. If it's still image, we use the D5 render. So AI, why I'm telling this story is AI works same way. If you guys are exploring something, everybody knows that MidJourney is the way to go. Especially now that they have editor tool, you can also convert your sketches into the renders, and it's amazing. And top on that, you can also give reference. So it is same like IP adapter. So what you have to try and see the time, effort, and result, analyze that, and whatever makes you comfortable and confident in achieving result, just go with that and just be the best in that. So learn almost, I won't say everything, but try to understand the core of all these tools, and then evaluate what works best for you guys. There is no pressure, because end of the day, there is someone who's asking that on Reddit, and that question came on Instagram, and that on Twitter, saying that end of the day, client is seeing the still image. Does it really matter that it's done with AI or manual or this thing? And everyone was answering differently. I did not posted anything about it, but that's what I told myself, that it's correct. But if your client wants something tomorrow, or say yesterday, AI is the thing to go, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
as far
it's
as
just like we were just like talking with one of our participants about like the ComfyUI seems to be so complicated, but like as the architects, we're not like satisfied so easily because we want precision, like the way that we describe to be happen on the screen. But like mostly the MidJourney, okay, it creates the perfect outcomes for the conceptually at the beginning, but when we try to add our own details as we see it, it's impossible to control it like the closed net AI images. But the ComfyUI gives us this ability, but it's like up to our like expectations from the AI, I guess. Like if you want to like direct results, we go to the MidJourney. But if you're just like get experience to adapt it into our control, so we can actually control AI for using that source. But people just really should invest their time in order to just like get some idea, build a hands-on experience. So I guess this workshop like values a lot for us. Like I will probably just revisit recording multiple times because I couldn't just like follow it because of like my internet speed doesn't allows me to download the models in the real time so fast. But like seeing this real workflow examples in the real cases just like envisions my future a lot. Thank you, Krishna, for that.
Welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. As I said, it for me, if you ask me, it requires 20 hours to talk about what all I have encountered. But trying best to do this, and obviously we can continue this. But I want everyone who joined this to at least finish this part of workflow and use cases. Be great at it, share, be confident, and then we can explore together and talk about it. So I think we have amazing results. I'm very happy with it. I'll tell you why. This is again the base image. This is what depth does. So as you see that Kenny was able to trace the line, and depth is getting the depth. We don't have any other thing attached. There is no IP adapter, but why this orange hand sketch canvas thing came, because I use this LoRa from Civit AI. So as you can see, This is without any IP adapter. We were able to. So sometime you have rough idea and it's not final and you want some creative way, or let's say you don't have content for your page on social media and you want to show your art skill. You did a nice SketchUp and you don't have time to render, you are busy in your project. Just open this workflow, try to play with different because look at the orange and black combination, it definitely catches the eyes. So imagine you posting this and the caption should be like, this is initial concept and stay tuned to. And then after that, by generating more of a final render image, you can continue your content. So this is how I use. If I see any nice artistic render LoRa model, I immediately download it. And this is how it is done. In this system, let me see if I have I'm trying to look for a model, LoRa model, if it is, because I don't remember the picture, but believe me, it renders the same way. This is a sketch because I attached the sketch. Okay, we can do one thing. I would bypass the LoRa and let's write something in prompt. Instead of architectural render, I would say detailed sketch we don't need, grid facade parametric we don't need, we just need residential building design, no, residential building in the city. I think everything here was related to this LoRa because I had this ready. Architectural render residential building.
For example, should we check this, like the LoRa model that you changed it? So do you go to the every time to the Civit AI to check the trigger words to activate this LoRa?
Usually I have a practice that when I open Civit AI, let's say it's open this way and I like, no, this is Flux. Let's say I like interior sketch. What I do is I have a Excel file where I will also download the model and the photo. So I don't forget. Like now, when we download it, this Chinese thing will appear. So maybe sometime if I'm using it often, I know that the Chinese thing V2 is my sketch thing to go. By the way, there is one more thing I forgot, guys, to tell you. When you download any model, let's download this right now. And like any other files, you can always rename this to avoid the confusion. But you just have to keep that dot thing, the file format as it is. So when you have that clear, maybe that will help you to identify clearly.
Maybe we can also
See
write
what
the trigger words file as well, because I usually forget the trigger words and go to the Civit AI, it should be in the prompt and so forth and back. But using an Excel file is also another way to go.
Yeah, I think that's what we were discussing yesterday also. I think I told this to, I did not forget his name, but I want to pronounce it right, Tolga. I told him that make sure that to experiment everything and then make sure that you only use the one that you are sure that, okay, this works. Otherwise, you'll wander around the way I am right now. Because most of this thing in this system is to try. Usually I use laptop, it is strong, but this system is more stronger too. Okay, so now we have changed this again. I would just say architectural render of residential building. Let's see. And we have closed the LoRa, not closed, basically we are bypassing it. Let's see what it does. I usually don't give such prompt. It has to be very clear. If I want stone cladding, I want wooden louvers, it has to be in daylight. But because we are trying to cover everything within the time, I would just try to show you guys how this thing works. By the way, there is also another way. Once this is done, I will show you. You can block entire workflow, like bypass it, and still render your base image with ControlNet. So, see? Good. So this is without LoRa. Yeah. Then you can always upscale it. So because we don't have LoRa. So that's what I wanted to show you. Another thing, guys, let's say I'm trying to bypass everything. Let's bypass this. And I will open up okay. Why we are doing this is if it overwhelms or confuse you that, okay, why so many connections and what it actually does, to finalize that, okay, for this project, you want to go with depth anything or layers, just render everything. At least you will have 4 renders showing you. Also, sometimes it's not the workflow, it's not the image you loaded, it's not K-sampler. Sometimes these models also can take little more time than expected. So by this, you will understand that, see, Joe map is also taking time for us to show us how exactly the depth it will catch. And I would want to compare all of it side by side, so we will know. So this is also another practice. And because I want to jump to Flux, it's been, I think, 3 hours. Or maybe we can also share later that you can always, for better and more precise result, especially for interior, because I think for facades and villas, or let's say residential or architecture, mainly you have the outlined, the single perspective, or you have a nice angle building. For interior, there are so many elements, from accessories to, carpets and cushion and maybe trim on the wall. So the practice that I have, like you have 2 IP adapter, you can always have multiple ControlNet models attached to it. So you can use depth with Canny. And I'm going to share the workflow for that. Because you know the fundamentals of it, the moment you see that on screen, I'm sure you all will understand that how multiple ControlNet works. And if you get stuck with anything or you have confusion, you can always ask us and we will try to answer. See, even it is a small thing, it is taking time. Okay, so the good thing about this is by the time this is happening, let me see how it will affect the GPU. But I think let's take a break, and then I can also run the other workflow of Flux beside this.
Okay.
By that I
fine.
mean, let's see, I have another tab, and let's say I want to explain this to you guys. We can start right away while this is backend, okay? But I would feel to wrap this up completely. So let's get back after the break.
Time, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we say how many minutes?
Guys, 15 minutes, 10 minutes works for everyone.
I guess like we can say 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes, yeah.
Okay, we will
Any
be back
question? Yeah, we have one question from Gayatri. Can you show us the depth interior workflow where the IP adapter is influencing the result, because balancing the depth input and reference image influence takes most of time? Basically getting to the sweet spot. Okay, if I understood your question, you want depth ControlNet infused with IP adapter instead of LoRa, and then see how it works, right? Okay. Okay, let's come back after the break. Okay, Celine.
Okay, I'm just writing into the chat so everyone will see in Turkish
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Okay, then see you guys all.
Okay. See you.
Hi everyone. Krishna says that she's here right now. We can continue if everybody is just back. Guys, please raise your hands or just like gives us like a thumbs up image if you're all here. Gayatri is here. Okay, that's good to know. The others? Mirai is also here. Ibrahim Bey is also here. I think if you're available, Krishna, you can just start.
Yeah, sure. All I'm doing right now is to share the depth workflow right now on the group. I had to shut down my system because of the Zen depth. So we're gonna continue, but I'm sharing that anyway. See if that model work in some speed. But it's all about the depth model, different depth model, and to work with it. Most of the time, there are two models that if you ask me to recommend, it's the LayRes. It is called capital LE. Then they have capital RES. It's there in my workflow. So LayRes and the depth map. Those two works best so far. I mean, even if you don't have any other control net model attached to it, it still understands the depth of the model very well.
So we will work with the diffusion flux control net workflow or not this one.
I have shared both. I'm going to share flux also. So far, all we studied is diffusion. It's more SDXL and SD15. SD 1.5, I mean. Yeah. Now I realize that we should have, I should have, in fact, saved those images. And when we share on WhatsApp, we should have, attached the picture and the workflow. So it's easy for everyone to memorize. Yeah. At least for them to understand that, oh, this was the use case of it. And never mind, we can always, I can slide those JSON, or maybe I'll make a quick PDF where the image, the title of the use case, and then the workflow is attached. So that way it is easy for everyone. And if you keep practicing, if they continue practicing after the workshop or maybe tomorrow, day after, it would be again more easier because, it's fresh.
Before we forget, we have to process.
Yeah. So this is what I have shared with you guys. If you face a problem not getting that orange black canvas architectural sketch with your reference image, it probably could be because of the LoRa. So again, it's from Civit AI. I will try to download, but mostly what you can do is I am not changing the name of the files that I downloaded from Civit AI. So if it is dream scenario, probably that's the name you can search on Civit AI, and you should be able to identify by the picture that that's the LoRa we use and download. Okay, so I would like to continue. Now that we had two use cases, turning sketches by using different control nets into render and artistic render, we will jump to see how the 3D render of an image could again help us using the control net. The good thing about this workflow, it is different from previous two workflow, because if you have noticed, I have Kenny, I have depth. So this two group can consider as a multi-control net. And to answer Gayatri's question before we went on break, that what if we have IP adapter? So now we have like everything into one workflow. At last, I have also added upscale, and this is integrated. I will show you how to do that. It's not necessary right now, but when you have such thing ready, you don't have to take that file back to another workflow and then open your model to upscale and redo everything again. So as far as it doesn't overwhelm you and you understand the basic that, okay, just keep on adding those workflow and improvise your template. So you will feel that, okay, everything is coming under one area, and that would make your practice much more easier and save your time. Okay. So I will quickly explain how it's flowing. So we have our checkpoint, the basic checkpoint. We have positive, negative prompt. I'm wherever I feel that it may confuse by looking at too many of screen, I will always indicate those notes. So just pay attention. I'm asking you to upload your model here. This is your starting point. We mentioned that wherever now, since we are trying to use our inputs, not only using prompt, make sure we have the imagery size and get image size node. Your latent group is ready here. K-sampler VAE, save image, and I have my image comparer. Apart from this, I have IP adapter, reference image, because again, we are not using LoRa. If you have noticed, because I'm giving reference, I have gone very minimal to, like I have written nothing on my prompt. I can still do that, but I want you guys to see the difference. Of course, Kenny and depth. I would add one thing here. Again, at the beginning, I think I struggled for 5-10 minutes to get this group thing done. But let me try again, because a while ago I tried and I found it. When you click here, it will show you convert to group node. What this does is, I will put this, that this is my group of IP adapter. This is not I wanted, guys. Because all I want is, I'm not able to do that. If anyone has ever tried it, please let me know. Because what it does is, it creates a group, like a template. And when you go to node, it should show here, like I have Kenny, you see, and when you click, it will immediately show you only this part of it. So every time you are trying to build a workflow, you will have this ready, and it's like a pop-up on your screen, and you don't have to go back and forth by clicking and typing those things. So it's frustrating because I'm not able to show you live, guys. Anyway, so control net again connected to Kenny. Just make sure this image, we don't have to do anything. It's a preview of Kenny. Here, it's a preview of the layers. As I mentioned, initially we used the normal depth control. Here I'm using layers because for this particular image, I tried a couple of them and layers was giving me precise detail. Note that in my experience, layers works best with interior images because you have depth here, and it was able to define the distance that I have gap between my bulkhead and the pocket for the curtain. One more thing I would like to add, there are two types of 3D renders. If you guys are using the SketchUp or Revit, when you build a model over there, it's basically a grayscale model. Like it doesn't have shadow and light. But if you have noticed my reference that I have achieved, I have the lamp and I have the lights done. So I have practiced both cases. And when I open my SketchUp image, usually what we do is we open it into DeFi, or you can also do this by using Lumion or landscape or Enscape, and just do the auto lighting. So what it does is when it try to open, it will give you, we call this model as a clay render. So it's rendered without the texture, but you can see the shadow, the light, and the depth. This is one step more comparing just putting your SketchUp model here, but it will save another tweaks that you have to go through to make this depth and Kenny understand all the details that you have in the scene. So again, this is a recommendation for experiment. Always feel free to also load your direct model, try to render it with the, let's say, the basic light, and then see if it gives you the exact result. Initially, I had some other reference here with IP adapter. I just Googled something and I like the color. I like to use the colors in interior. So I picked this. Doesn't necessarily have to be the image of a bedroom. So again, feel free. As you can see, the concept here and the concept here is completely different. This is more like hotel type, contemporary style with basic headboard and the artwork behind it. Here it's more cozy. It's more for a residential. It has a personal touch, but let's see what result we get. I'm not gonna elaborate on my prompt. We will do that later and see the result. I feel everything is connected and everything looks good to me. For upscale, there are different model and so many different ways to do that. But when I integrate that with very initial concept, I only use this 2 node. All you have to do is you have to type load upscale model, and this 4x full hardy is model available also on GitHub and I guess in Hugging Face. I don't mind to share the link later on. I'll just take a note that I have to share. Just check if you guys can find this as well. With it, I need attachment of a green thing over here, because all you have to do is your VAE should pass through the blue line. If I attach this VAE with my last image, it doesn't make any difference. Between this and my final image, I need to infuse one more node, which will help this model to perform with the noise. So for that, I need to also download upscale image. Again, same way, you have to type upscale image and you will get something like this. Again, there is one more way. When you download or read someone else's workflow, sometime you will see this only that way. It's just a capsule and so many capsule, and then you see the big bulb, big square or big rectangle with a nice render. Don't get confused. It's as simple when you have too many windows, or let's say nodes, and you don't have group done. Usually they have practiced to attach everything, collapse everything, and then gather in one place to make that look very clean. When you want to read and understand that what exactly this workflow does, simply go into that capsule, right click, and just say expand. So it's that easy. Collapse, which will make it like a capsule. Everything will be hidden. It will look more clean and organized. And when you want to study it, just click on that and click expand. So it will do the job. We can bypass this right now because we want this to see first the result, and then later on we can see if using it makes any more changes to it. So again, to answer Gayatri's question, Kenny, depth, multi-control net, I can also bypass IP adapter, but then I have to mention my prompt well. I have to mention the element. At least I have to mention the style that I want. I can also turn off Kenny and see if IP adapter and depth works. I can do vice versa. Close Kenny and run IP adapter with, close depth and run it with Kenny, and close Kenny and run it with depth. Here, as you can see, I see the flat headboard. The only thing I see here which is defining better is the shadow. I think this will make this will look like a sunlight coming from difference between the distance of the main wall drapes and to the bed. So that's the only thing which is helping me by using the depth control here. I can always play with the strength, but at 1, if this is the strength, I would not change it. The line again determines everything. I think it's set to very low, which means it is detecting too many details from it. Let's see how it goes, and then you are always free to increase this value and make it look more clean. My strength is very low here because the reason I did that is, as I said, I have the completely different concept and detail compared to the reference given. I don't want this to overpower. All I want is to pick the color references and just to make it more cozy and soft. And this is the results, guys. So as you can see, this is just a start. You can do the multiple points. I would like to increase this and see how it goes. And now I would recommend to put more to the prompt. So we have bedroom interior design. This is not a Memphis style because all they did is to play with the color block, and there is some pattern to the artwork here, but basically it's again modern contemporary with I would say with pop of color. I would try to put this in a short wordings. I would say, let's say the velvet fabric in, let's say, mustard yellow to the bed. I would say headboard in beige boucle fabric. An artwork behind the bed with pop of color. Wooden, you can put wooden flooring, or you can also go more technical and write the parquet. I would say leather chair, and I will try to see I would try to see if it works with this prompt and if it catches more of the reference, because we have given more weight to it. And I think I would reduce so many line of Kenny. To do that, I will simply increase. If this is by 35, again, as a usual practice, I would just add 15 or 20 points more. This can be 50, also like 50 points more. It says starting 9. Okay, I would put this fully. I'm not playing with the strength here because I think I want that to be more close as the render that I have given. I don't want it to give any sort of extra freedom to do. I think I have done something wrong with the prompt or something. This is completely messed up. Okay. I will tell you what. I said the bed in mustard yellow velvet. It caught, and because it's also part of bed, it caught the headboard. So, okay, headboard in beige. Boucle fabric, I would say headboard in let's use the white marble. Well, white headboard. Cladded, cladded in white marble walakas. Let's see if that gives us a nice look and feel. And let's not overpower the reference image to it. And one more thing I would do, let's bypass the IP adapter, use the multi-control net. Our prompt, I think it mentions the theme of it. I would still let's add the style name. I'm doing contemporary style, and let's see how it goes. Let's see the multiple result, and then we're gonna see how it works with the upscale. I don't think it will make much changes here. I think we should also change the checkpoint and see, because this is giving me little not so clean result. You see, it's all distorted looking. So let's see how Juggernaut performs. I can see the wooden floor. The marble started showing up, but not clear. So let's wait. Yellow to the bed. Velvet fabric in, okay. Yellow to the bed. Frame. Okay, so guys, I'm behaving as if I really have this work to submit, and this is what my thought process, and this is how I tweak and try to achieve the result. So you can see it live, and if you have any question that I should do it in different way, again, please feel free to mention about it. Okay, so without, I think this image is without by blocking IP adapter, or maybe it, because it's still rendering. Let's see. So Gayatri, is this what you mean to mix the IP adapter with those control net, and you wanted to see how it goes? Anyone else has any questions? Okay, good. So I have wooden floor, I have mustard yellow, I have leather chair, I have white marble. I'm still not happy with the picture, but again, we are getting there. As I always say, that if you keep trying, it gets better for sure. And let me unblock this and let it bypass. I would also unblock everything and see the final results. Let it render and we will zoom in and check everything. By the way, sometime when you get such thing that window is getting the frame but it's not acting as window, you can always go back to your prompt, and you can always mention that you have window facing the building with the curtain. You can let's not exaggerate, but elements such as something that affects the composition, always try to add them and see. Most probably you're gonna get the result because you are anyway guiding it um, properly by writing your prompt precisely. We have 2 more renders to go, and then I think I'll know that which one is following the reference. Editorial photography, bedroom, contemporary style, and I will just try to overpower my reference image and not confuse, and see if I get a nice color rather than getting everything in yellow. But as you can see, the whole idea is to show you that you can also render your 3Ds with ComfyUI. This is the workflow for it, and yeah, it's possible. Everything is getting yellow. I'll just look to see if anyone has a question for me. Yeah, working well. Yeah. Yeah. Mirai, anything, any question?
I think we're so far so good.
Yeah. Because everything that you see on my social page, and I have also created one website where the concept that I see work really well. I have started like, it's a website, but it works like a blog where every image has a story of the thought process and the approach of getting that concept and approaching AI, whether it's by prompt or giving reference. So that's what I'm trying to show here. So always be experimental with it. See, okay, it is giving me a nice pastel colors right now, picking up from the reference that we have. Let's see. Okay, now I also understood it was like this. Let's say if we ask it to start from the beginning, if it does make any changes for us. Yeah, so about the website, I'm mentioning because you will see amazing result as if it's either a picture without distorted objects. And because I'm claiming that it's done in AI, but I could also post it and say that this is a place. Believe me, it's that clear, and those are achieved by using same workflow. All you have to do is keep tweaking, because for sure there will be surprising results that you'll be able to achieve. Maybe by the time this is rendering, I can show. This week I haven't posted much, but see, this is what everything that you see here is done with AI, and all this amazing quality result that you see is done with AI. And this was also a hand sketch that we used to develop this render. And as you can see, it's, and then I have the story and the other examples, because sometimes you can get, like, you usually get more than 1 or 2 images. So yeah, so you can really expect this, is all I'm saying, by using these wonderful tools. All you have to do is keep trying it. And with Flux, this is messed up for some reason. Oh no, because it generated such image. Just trying to upscale. This usually, how upscale works is, to upscale the image, what they what it does is, if you have a ratio of a square image by 512 by 512, upscale means, let's say you want to upscale it 4 times. Imagine a one box converting into 4, and then expanding it with the quality without distorting or pixelating the image. What I have noticed with this full hardy is it's not completely it will just remove the noise. In simple language, it won't expand your image and make it really printable, that I usually do in Flux, but it will remove any extra noise that is there in image, and your image would look little softer, as you can see here. So that's what it does. So for, again, initial presentation, this is nice to go ahead with. We will use the same 3D and try to use the Flux control net and see the results, and let's compare, guys. So far this is SDXL. Okay, let me also try this one more time, because I remember we changed the model, and since then the results started changing. So let me try one more time. After this, we have one more use case to see left, very interesting in painting, that we will try to achieve something that was not possible with only using IP adapter. And after that, we are ready to jump to the Flux.
By the way, while you're just like rendering the image, your PC configurations is just like showing in the top of the ComfyUI. Is this like a custom node as well?
No,
This-
when you update, it should usually come, Celine. It wasn't there before. Yeah, yeah.
I
I just
recently
update.
updated, but maybe I should like check it one more time.
Yeah, yeah. I'll also check for you, because I think there are ways to get this on your bar. To be honest.
Yeah, I just like saw a
Yeah.
discussion in
Someone
the
on.
yeah.
Yeah. Someone on Discord asked the same question, and I had someone answered that, but I did not. For me, it was good that I got it automatically.
I don't get this about the ComfyUI. Some of the times that I upload it into my computer, something works, and some other time I try it as well, and it doesn't appear. So I guess like it's
Yeah.
the latest updates in the libraries.
Yeah. 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 And by the way, don't forget, if when you okay, because I changed the, okay, Control R. Sometime when you upload too many workflow from unidentified source, it changed the Python's path. It changes the script. So
Yeah,
sometime it's same thing with the CivitAI. You have to be very careful, and I think they are working with it for safety and stuff. But yeah, that happens. So sometimes that could be also the reason. So immediately you can close the script, again restart, and see if that works. They are definitely doing something to make this work for as many people as they could, because initially it was just like a group using this, and even the installation was not safe. Sometime we have to turn down the internet, when the scripts are running, because chances of virus
getting
hitting it was high. Yeah. And then they now have this page for such thing, that they are working towards safety for it. So let's see where it goes. Okay,
actually,
so now
answered my question. He uses Cry tools for the RAM usage. Thank you. I will just like upload it.
yeah. Oh, someone has a solution?
Yeah. Gayatri says that
Gayatri
like
has a
he uses.
solution? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Note for, okay. Great. Okay. So we'll go on and wrap up on this one. By the way, the file that Celine has shared today, this workflow is added into that. So we will not use this separately on WhatsApp. With the same name, you can look for it, 3D image render, which has multiple control net model along with the IP adapter. If you want to use LoRa, simply you just turn off this bypass, move this a bit, put load LoRa, and then try to connect the model, the clip. It will go here. Sorry, guys. It will go here. And simply your model goes to LoRa, and then this model goes to the K sampler, and then you have those clips attached, and then you pick your LoRa and go ahead with it. So please try and let me know, but this is how you can turn off your IP adapter and also infuse LoRa if you have particular style. Uh, LoRa plays a role now with flux thing that we're gonna see, because LoRa is something that if you don't see the style that you want, you can train your own LoRa's and then infuse it. So it becomes more customized. And if you have big project where you know that you're gonna generate many concepts and you want that consistency, that let's say it's a hotel, you have lobby, you have gym, you have bar area, you have rooms to design, that's the best practice that you can do. Because with IP adapter, lots of time, either you have to play and tweak a lot with the weight or with your prompt. So if you don't want to go through that and save your time more on generating the base models, because you would do that manually, make your strong prompt and then just use LoRa to have that consistency. It can be either by project or also how we use to make your studio stand out, because there are so many companies, they have particular style to do that. Let's say Zaha Hadid Architect, so it's more fluid, it's more white with lots of let's say glass or wood, or the landscape also plays around it. So that for those kind of stuff, always train LoRa and then try to use. I'll show you how. So this is good. I will now jump to a last chapter of SDXL, which is in painting. We call it focus in painting because that's the name of the model, which was developed by the community. It's not that lengthy workflow. You have the checkpoint, you have positive, negative, you have the base render, because again, the intention of focus in painting is you have a ready render, or let's say the picture, or even it could be an empty space. And before you start anything, you want to see if you have a particular pieces, how it would complement the area. That's where you use the focus in painting, or like a use case that you have a nice render done with control net and you forgot to put, or you want a final render post-production, for post-production by adding people, by adding cars. Again, you have to come back to this workflow, because the good thing about in painting is when you have the image in IP adapter, we notice that every time you hit render, it changes. There was no consistency. Even if you follow seed, the possibility of changing the base image are high with the IP adapter. Here, it doesn't even touch any element or composition or anything when you use the in painting. So You have again a base render. That's what you need, because this is to infuse something. You need a base for it. In painting has two group, guys. I will explain that later. First, let me show you. IP adapter jumps in here because again you need a reference to add in that, and it works really well with it. Probably you should have the IP adapter when you use in painting, because that's the only way we can infuse the reference. It uses two group actually. So let's say by name itself, it's in painting. So what you have to do is to look for apply focus. So it will give you the basic node of it. Now that you know about IP adapter, usually what we used to do with IP adapter was to connect this model directly, because we wanted the process to pass through it and process here and then give us the output. But in this case, we only want it to use certain object. It's no more about the entire reference or entire scene or color combination. It's basically its object that you want to place. So the model should pass through the focus in painting, which is here. Then again, this will go to IP adapter, and IP adapter is the last step. So it should again get back to K sampler and VAE code. Now about the patch and the latent, because you don't have now the latent image, it works like a combination. It comes with the group. So for this, the other group is in paint conditioning. So along with focus in paint, you have to look for in paint conditioning node. So this is like a family, and it complements all the dots to connect along with the basic workflow that you have. And then obviously this is a standard practice. If you guys have noticed that whether it's control net or it's IP adapter, the main processor has a model. So same way in paint also has a model, which they call as a patch. So again, you have to introduce that. To find it, again, you can write a focus in paint, and it will give you the patch. Now in this patch, it says head and patch. Usually this you have to download from the Hugging place. Try to upload this workflow. It's already, we have shared this, and then see if you have error or it's automatically updated with your ComfyUI. In case if you get the error, you can simply go to Hugging Face, write the focusing paint, and you will get these files to download. It's quite heavy, but it is must to have it. Okay, and after this group, I have the mask group. Actually, there are some workflow, the sample workflow on internet, where you will see all the 6 in one window or separately floating around. But it's very confusing because it's not as complicated as seem like. With this is only the another processor that we need, which is prepare image and mask for in paint. It's very simple with the English, that it is to prepare the image and mask. Mask is just again the area that you highlight, and that's where the in paint gonna work. Let's say in paint. These two are nothing. It's just the preview. So I always want to see the preview, that if my mask is in correct shape. Sometimes if the image is dark and you try to highlight, sometimes you miss the part, and maybe you will get the dot or the color or some sort of distortion because you did not select it. So to make sure that everything is selected perfectly, I have masked it perfectly. I always look to see the preview. And preview image is this image, the entire photo. Now I have masked it to save the time, guys, but you will see the actual photo. I have black sofa behind it. Okay, so you're gonna see what the original image I have, and it is telling me here in paint mask that I have from this image, this is the area I want to cut. So I have separated this window, let's say this group, to show you how the mask work. This is optional, grow mask. What this does is I kept telling that please highlight little further to avoid seeing the edges. Like, see, I can see the edge that it's a leg in the cylinder shape resting on the carpet. So if I have missed it and I have the grow mask, what it does, it automatically expand at to certain point and create like a fog around your mask area. So even if by mistake you left something, at least it won't show you the edges, the sharp edges. So you can bypass it, you can add it. I prefer to add it just to make sure that I get something which blend perfectly without making some the viewer realizing that I had something else and I have inpainted something on top of it. Again, IP adapter, you have render engine. Overlay, again, is also something that you must add it, because by doing this, you will not change. Sometimes what happens, I'll show you practically that will make more sense. Sometimes what it does is the chances of your image to get zoom in, because that's the area you want to focus on, are more. But you don't want to do that. You want everything exactly as it is, and all you are doing is overlapping something that you want to see the option for. So that's where grow mask and overlay are really important, because you will not lose a single pixel of your original image by adding this into your workflow. Let's say I had a black sofa, you will see in a bit, and I want this orange sofa. Let's see. So this is what I'm saying. This is the sofa. I don't want leather sofa, or let's say I want client to see that, okay, you have an option leather with leather chair, and you have velvet with leather chair. So this is my original image, and I will tell you with this overlay thing. If I don't use overlay, the chances are high that my final output will be in this size. It will focus on the area, but because I want it to show with this table, with this chair, carpet, table, everything, I must add the overlay. So it won't only focus on that, it will follow the same picture only by changing this portion of it. So that's how the entire in-painting thing works. It looks complicated, but if you look it for a couple of time, I think you will understand. It won't change anything. And at the end, I have image comparer to show you guys. So as you can see, this is a glitch, I'm sure, but see, if I have turned down this, even my final image, which is this, would be exactly like this.
Perfect.
Yeah. You know
I
why?
believe
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you, it's not a glitch, it's me. I should have this image connected to show you guys as image B. But I have, you see, it's simple. If you practice, you will realize, I think I have this output attached to my image B. Therefore, it is showing me only the area close up. You see? So if I attach this, I think it's A or B. I have to make sure that I know that. I think this is connected where? Okay, it's connected to B, so this should be A, and hope for the best. But you see, guys. So do you see the reference image
it's close up
and the
view.
original image? Yeah, and the original image. So the thing that you were not able to achieve, and you were losing the actual quality also. See? Oh no, this is completely messed up now.
I think we just like
but
attaching the
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
reference image. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah. I
that-
think I just have to change this, and I'm sure that the problem is here, me connecting the different output. But this is the original image. I think I have it, the big one, to show you guys. Yeah. So as you can see, not a single element or even the quality has changed. It
Mhm.
is as it is pixel by pixel. And because we had grow mask, you can see the transition here is at least better. And then always we can take this into upscale and make it more high resolution. But yeah, this is what I wanted to explain you. Um, Now the strength of my sofa here is 85. Maybe that's the reason that I have this the different stitching at the back, but I would still keep it. It is still following uh, the, let's say, the result that I'm expecting. Or maybe we can try to see at 100% how it works, if it gives us the plain image or no. It took 21 seconds to render this, and this is amazing. Like, imagine uh, you have one image rendered perfectly, and you don't want to put every time a different model. Maybe that model that you like in the picture is hard to build, and it is not even available in any 3D library. You don't have those 3D models. All you can use is your image and this workflow. And yeah, see, it removed the line, and we are getting more closer to this reference. So that's a power of in painting, guys.
I'm imagining trying to do it in a Photoshop. Like it would just like take so many hours to be fit in like that. It's perfect
Of
in that.
course. Yeah, let's try to close. I think with overlay it should show us the error. Not sure. But this is also I wanted to discuss. See, this is the mask, and you see how the edge is blending perfectly with the black background. Even this image itself is blurry and not so sharp to completely change it in a drastic way. And therefore, the proportion, because this sofa is quite long, it's not two-seater, or it's long, because look at the room and the proportion with the full image. So I was worried because this looks to me like a two-seater, right? And this is quite long. So imagine stretching this manually. It's difficult. And if
Yeah.
you do this in Photoshop and you want to crop this image and paste it on Photoshop, you will have extra gap and your tables are far. So what you gonna add into that, and how you gonna balance the overall composition?
It's
So
almost
this is the,
impossible.
yeah. And okay, see, I change the grow mask, and do you see all the problems now? So this is why I always recommend to keep this mask. So if you have missed a bit, you see this, I did not put enough pressure, so it still shows as a black dot and it's not completely masked. Even this is uneven, this is extra, this is going high, it's not in one line. But if I see my outcome with the grow mask, it is still sharp and good, right? See, it's not that fluctuating, and it still look at as a part of this composition. So that's a power of in painting in ComfyUI. So
Krishna, may I ask you a thing?
sure.
When you just pair your workflows, I can open with all the models are listed or so, but we can't see the example of the inputs images that you give. So when we later just like open up the workshops and trying to configure out what was it we used for the case, can you just like take the screenshots of your work spots
Sure.
so we can just like understand quickly which kind of a reference image that we have to give to work better, because somebody can just
100%.
like use it for another surfaces, so it might
Sure,
be a
sure.
reminder for us.
Sure, sure. I think there is also one way to share it with embedded photos. Usually, it is not showing like other things that you share with other software, that if it's not in your folder, those images, it won't show. But I have
Yeah.
downloaded some photographic and some anime workflows to test and try, but when I download, it always shows the image that they use, honestly. So I have already asked them that if I want to embed it the way you are doing, how it could be. But there can be one reason, because sometime I download with a package and it
I
may
see.
change the settings in my ComfyUI. So if that's the case, we won't risk it. But I think the suggestion you have works best.
Well, the screenshot would be enough, like just to understand
Yeah.
what kind of like input images that we use in here without like returning to recording. For
Sure,
example,
sure.
the task you provided is just like guiding us to how to
Sure.
solve this use case.
Sure, sure. Guys, any concern, any questions you have? Because Flux is so lengthy, now I feel nervous. Otherwise, I want to go back to that 3D and see if we can put the car.
Okay.
Sorry. Let's try something unique. We will use some internet picture from here, and I would still use the red car, and let's mask it
We're
and
stuck
see
with
if we
that
can.
red car.
Yeah, if any problem is not resolved, I can't sleep. This is the area. This car came from out of the box without the road or anything. The composition won't make sense, but okay, let's make sure that we change also the prompt. It's yeah, it's a photography of a modern house. Let's just put a red car parked in front, and hopefully this should work. This is also bothering me, but let's not look at it.
Just hide it.
Yeah. It's like when you can't fix the problem, just put a tree.
It's my version of doing work.
Was this for Mr. Sadiq or Khan?
I'm not so sure. I just missed the beginning of the session, but probably if
Yeah.
I know Khan, it was him.
Yeah. Oh, we have two.
Okay, we ask for one and get two. It's okay.
Two. I will tell you why. Look at the proportion of the house and car. I'm impressed by it because this is a real world. Don't look at this car right now. If you look at the scale of this thing, I think I have masked it little far and quite a big area, right? That
Yes.
doesn't make sense for it to zoom in. Otherwise, the car is only the one we will see, because we want to focus on the villa and car part in front. It pushed it a bit away, and because I masked so much, it also added one more car.
If we
So-
set it like the car in front and at the background, the modern villa, I probably it should get the car like the ultimate piece of the artwork, and at the background, the villa will be just taking place.
Exactly. So let's play within this. I think proportionally, I'm just visually guessing, honestly. Okay, and let's see. You see how powerful in painting is, and again, it is supported with the IP. So know like every workflow well, practice it, and then you know when to use what now. I don't think we will be able to clear the flux in 1 hour. Okay, it's little stretched out. Let's try one more time. Okay, simply I'm just clicking clear here, and my previous mask gets disappeared. I think because of this, I would just select something here. But my concern is it's close up, right? Close to the place that I'm standing and looking at this perspective. Therefore, I'm enlarging because I don't want the card to be so small also. But yeah, these are the tweak, but you know that by tweaking, you're gonna get what you want. So finally, we have a red card in front of the villa. It's here. So yeah.
Still a bit slender card, but it works.
Yeah. I think it is because the way I'm masking it also. So that's where you have to practice, and we have to improvise. And for sure, this is giving the result as it promised, that without changing anything, all it is touching is the area that we have highlighted. So it is doing its job. Yeah. Okay. So at the top, we want our main image, and at the bottom, I want the image that we render. Let's see. So everyone, this workflow is already there in our
Try for folder.
yeah, in our folder. I'm just looking. I'm waiting for any question because now we will jump into Flux.
Krishna, if you think that the flux wouldn't just like fit in 1 hour, we can just like wrap it up this session with the questions and answers, and maybe have like a separate time for the flux, because as you said before, like it takes so much time to just like build the workflow and show the everything. It's all up to you.
Yeah.
The Sadik says
it was
that.
Mr. Sadik. He's happy. Okay, great. We couldn't park it to the exact place it should be, but yeah, we will try.
I was on the phone, sorry, but I was watching.
Yeah, okay. We couldn't park after so many attempts because I think I have problem to determine the perspective, the viewpoint where I'm standing looking at the house, and exactly mask the proportionally right area for it. But I think that's only the problem. Rest is working. So I'm going to share the workflow as it is. Yeah, if everyone agrees and they are flexible to spend 3 to 4 more hours with us next time, I would try to, I'll be happy because I don't want to rush and just jump onto everything at the moment because there's so much to adopt. But all we can do, because we have in prior shared the flux, maybe I can open those 5 and just read the heading. If you guys are not in rushing, don't even look at it. But if you have enough time, maybe you can look at it and try and ask question. Maybe gather the question, lots of questions and concern for the next workshop, so we can communicate more about it.
I'm just like offering a suggestion for the whole group. Like, since the loading the model takes a lot of time, and since we have like the workflow, just let's try everyone to open up the Flux model right now, and everybody should download the necessary components, the custom nodes and etc., and be sure that everybody is just ready. So we will just like have a separate workflow, separate session for just like the built-in with you, like as an hands-on session. Because right now we also have like struggling to keep up with your pace, since we haven't like installed this custom nodes, and the models takes a lot of time to work. So in meantime, we will be able to just like follow up with you in this next session if it's okay for you.
Yeah, I'm flexible as far as everyone is comfortable not to take so much right now and give it a time.
Yeah.
Our time is booked for them for next weekend or any time that the whole group. I think everyone is on WhatsApp. You can give your suggestion, guys, here. When even during the weekdays, if depends on your working hour, if you can spare some time one day evening, it doesn't necessarily have to be the weekdays.
We can ask the group, do some poll to just decide the timing,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So is everybody okay with that? Because we just like covered a whole lot of new things with these new workflows. So attempting to go all in and with the Flux, I guess we will just like run our brains out right now.
Yeah, but it's like, honestly, when you see the results of Flux, you'll feel, okay, why Krishna took 2 days to explain so much on SD Excel when she knew that Flux would work the best.
But it's just like the basic started with the
Of course.
Yeah.
Excel. Like
Of
we have
course,
to know
of
the
course.
basics first.
Of course, of course, of course. Of course, because it took me lots of time to research. Honestly, I have also tried to approach people who initially in 2023, 2024, at the beginning, they were working with ComfyUI. Even they used to do the characters and nothing to do with architecture or design. I really had a long conversation. I paid them to make me explain how the base thing works. And when I saw Flux, I needed like few try to understand, and it was like this. So because practically I applied, I feel that now when you guys are comfortable with interface and the system and the issue and the pros and solution of node and model and space it takes, the Flux should be very clear. Then all we have to focus on giving a right input and work. By the way, Flux also works with the LLM, so easy. You just tell it, integrate it, and it will generate prompt for you guys. So the fun is into tweaking, and when you see the very high class resolution in front of you, it boosts and helps you to generate more of your work and make your portfolio stronger. Yeah.
I think the Flux among the all like the stable diffusion, of course, it was the initial source of ours, but slowly pacing down the race like as like a one-hand single perfect AI model to generate what we expect to with the prompt.
Yeah, also with Crea, it is integrated and there is separate API. So I think it's well trained. I myself, I have never trained SDXL LoRa model, but I have trained my own Flux models as well and have generated some amazing results. So I would love to share that also with community and they can try. And we will have little session of how to download a tool called Pinocchio and try your own LoRa and get under control. And that you can use for characters as well. Not necessarily it have to be interior or architecture. So whether it's an Amy.
The platform, Pinocchio? Is it that?
Yeah, it also works with the script. So Pinocchio is something which supports the model called Flux Gym. And in Flux Gym, you have to install. If you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, I will just try to show you the output. I think it's okay. So for example, so this is a result of Flux basic prompt. You see, I wanted to do something for a product photography that for for home center and stuff. See, like a miniature wrapped in a packet. I wanted to try to create some content around it. I will show you the proper render. This is anime. to see the skin, to see the hair, to see the tattoo. So this is all done with the flux. This is flux in painting, just to show that, okay, I want to change each cushion one by one and have the control under it. This was with IP adapter to take the style, but look at the quality. You will drastically see the difference. All these images that I'm showing you right now, this is my own model, my own LoRa model. I wanted a particular style. So as you can see here, some similarity in the paintings you will see a playful patterns, but in very subtle color in the carpets. You see again. So this is what I mean. When someone looks at your image, it's like branding, that they will have your name pop up, that, okay, this looks like done by Krishna or Celine. So that's the fun to do with it. And again, this is a same model. Yeah, I am again big fan of colors and models. So this is another Memphis style LoRa that I have used. You have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen this. And I have also shared there to download. Here it's another style that I have developed, some very quirky things. See?
Krishna, where do you just train your LoRa models inside the ComfyUI?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to show you how to use the Pinocchio, because that's a platform, and there is a tool called Flux Gym. For one project, this is what I train. This is a very famous style that you see on Pinterest and Behance. Lots of architects and designers are posting. So this is also, I have the files ready. I have trained this model. So now when you have this LoRa and your 3D or sketch, you hit render and you get this with the quality. And look at the consistency. Yeah, and look at the consistency. You have bedroom, you have lounge, you have dining area. So it looks like one project, you see? You are not jumping, you are not making it obviously done with AI by having that consistency. So I encourage everyone to bear with us another day for a few more hours to get these results and all these files that we have used to produce. The same bed that we struggled to get good quality. Yes, we were getting the composition, but again, look at this quality. I'll show you the same bed. Look at this. The same contemporary style, same thing. So we're gonna also show that now that you used to do with SDXL, this is how the flux would work. Choose what's easy. Choose something which is faster for your system, because one more thing before I forget, Celine, we have to write this somewhere on a group or maybe in chat, that if not everyone have the capacity in their system to run the Flux Dev model, there is another model called Flux Schnell. People say that that makes work much faster and lower the quality, but I haven't faced such issue. I get the same quality as Flux Dev. So sometime, even if my computer is capable of running Dev, but I want something much faster, like few minutes ahead of I do use Schnell also. So do not overload your system to add 28 GB of Flux Dev. Use Flux Schnell, and I assure you that with the experiment and workflow that we have, you will be able to receive such results.
We should just write in the WhatsApp group that everybody has just like should download the Schnell model. And if anybody has just like wants the better results, that they can use the developer version.
Yeah, and therefore, from beginning of this session today, I had this website open because I really wanted everyone to check this website and understand, because this is where you can download everything, even See, and then it will show you even the possibilities with it, that it works with the flux field is in paint, and then you have control net. See, these are the possibilities that we're gonna look for it, and there they have a direct links to it. So don't touch the API one. We simply just go on the
Hugging
link that
Face.
you see, yeah, and you have to make sure that you log in a Hugging Face to make sure that this is downloadable, because you have to agree to their repository, I guess, before downloading it. So if you face any problem by doing this, just let us know. But these are the basic thing to download the model. And even to try, maybe you can download Flux later when you upgrade your system, but I would recommend to start with the Schnell. And we have one more model of GitHub. I think better than asking you to find for it, I would love to share the model number, because see here, I think we have shared them the workflow. This is what guys we have shared. Again, please don't get overwhelmed by looking at all this. We're gonna go through it. But what this does is, usually Flux also have different way to build the workflow. It's not as basic as the Excel. You have to merge those two, and it can be little overwhelming. But with Flux Dev Compact, this is also created by community. You can just simply load the way you were loading different model like Juggernaut and SD15. You can do that here. And then you attach your LoRa, positive, negative. I'll explain how this works. And then simply you have not to change the VAE, K-sampler, and empty latent. So specifically for this reason, I have shared this particular workflow with you guys. So if you are not able to download any other model, we will share the link. Flux Compact is the name, to make sure that it works with the basic workflow. And everything I done here is with that. So I'm showing results, and I'm sure, just try and let me know. You should get this embedded with it. Then I know where it is going, and then I can make sure that every workflow I share is embedded. If you go further down, I have some mixed one to understand also the workflow that I gathered from the community I'm part in, which works for enemy and characters. This was for me to see if I can do something for fashion related content, just to add more to community, and to get more content for my social media also, that we are not restricted with this, and maybe I can add a nice model to my poster, interior or architectural. So feel free to also dig into that, and if you have any question, ask me.
Actually, I curious about the animation and anime style.
Yeah.
I'm curious the next session.
Yeah. In fact, when you tagged me yesterday, Tolga, I get to know your page, and I have checked some content because it was in Turkish. I couldn't, but I was so fascinated by some, I don't know whether it's art, After Effects that you use, but some,
Just only Premiere Pro. I used for editing, but I show the people the AI is gonna be easy. All can be used.
Yeah, and I was also amazed that you do completely different work than what this session is about. But you were the one who kept with us, like stayed with us from the very beginning to the last. So that shows the passion you have.
Yeah,
and it was
actually,
really amazing.
This is for my really passion. I love the AI art. Actually, I'm sometimes work with really big prompts. Sorry for my English.
No, it's very clear to me. Don't worry. And Flux is all about that. It's very if you see also, look at the prompt. See?
Yeah.
It's lengthy. And okay, more than that, look here.
Yeah.
So it understands the LLMs. So you can ask ChatGPT your prompt and infuse to Flux to get the best result out of it, or any other LLM. So I think we are all on right path to achieve the mastery of this tool.
Yeah.
But if you guys can experiment and start sharing your result also, would be really great for all of us to see.
Okay.
Yeah. Please ask question, guys, so far.
By the way, I just shared the Flux Channel model Hugging Face page. Can you just check it, Krishna, if it's true or not? You know, if
You
it's
shared where?
right in the chat.
On
In the chat.
In the chat.
No,
I
it's the
only...
last message. I think it's the right
this
version,
one.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
If anyone needs it, so
Yeah.
So again, to remind, you should just put this model onto the model checkpoints file when you download it.
No, you should put this into UNet folder, guys.
UNet, okay.
Yeah.
I also notice it right now.
we are also learning. So
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. Now put UNet. And the compact, for me, it works somehow with also when it's on checkpoint. So I'm gonna take a different chapter for that why this should go into. Definitely, it usually come from the developer that what folder it should go. But I usually like to try and see whether it's because not working, not supported, or does it affect the result or the space of your system. So this is all experimental. So I'm gonna share. Please show us a simple upscale workflow with an external image. Gayatri, if I do this using SDXL, it's quite a lengthy workflow, but if it's a Flux, okay, this is also a little lengthy. I think I have a shorter workflow to answer your question. Here. Okay. By the way, it's not shorter, but that is more elaborated, and I have all the hidden capsule.
How many workflows in total do you have?
Honestly, I've tried 92, but what we are discussing here are only basic. I think 18 are total workflow, including or 22, if I'm not wrong, when we achieve also with the Flux, or let's see, it will add on for sure. So this is how I will give the workflow, but all this lengthy big thing that you see, it's a part of Flux. All you have to do is look for those nodes. When you download this workflow, it should pop up that it's not there, and it should show into your manager. And simply after this is done, what I do is, let's say we have an image. I want to use the image that we generated using it. Okay, let's see, we have this image. Okay, there is a good point of Flux also, that it gives us flexibility, what style you want, and look at the option. So this will also help Tolga when you are doing anime and different style. For us, it's always architectural photography. Change the prompt, because it will do, this is the model Hyperflux. That's where I'm rescaling it. And I want to upscale by 1.50, and let's see. Oh, I'm supposed to turn this off, or you can switch also. I'll explain this also later.
Krishna, sometimes I tried some workflow in Sweet AI, but maybe I can use only 1 week. After I can't use. Somehow it's broken, not working.
Okay. Have you ever tried to save it within your ComfyUI?
No, actually, I use and remove and new download because every time not working new.
Yeah. Yeah. So see, as far as it's for experimental thing, before you completely remove it, if you start getting 70-80% of workflow, which means you are getting control over it, so by the time you're gonna achieve that 90%, you're gonna reach to that stage. So please save it. Otherwise, if you have lost it, for sure the image that you have generated with it will be there in your output folder. Try to drag that and drop and see if it still work without damaging anything.
All output can keep inside her workflows, right?
Yeah. I don't know why my entire screen is frozen. I can't.
Yeah, you frozen.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
screen also. Or maybe because my GPU is completely busy rendering this upscale thing, because it take all the power of the VRAM, because we are
Yeah.
trying it to go very high scale. You guys see me moving? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
It moves.
You are awake.
Sorry. I didn't know that. Okay. Tolga, to answer, look at this. Desktop, Comfy. This is my app. And let's say we have output. Everything I did in the system is saved. Yeah. So let's say I want to see this bedroom. All I have to do is I have to go to my Comfy. My file is open. Done. It's here.
It's
It's
really
here. It's here. So even the JSON file or file format is not saved. Do not worry. You did not lose anything. It's there on in your output folder.
good. Okay. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Life saving.
Yeah. And yeah, and especially if you're working for a client, then make sure that if you have this tendency not to, sometime it's not us being organized or disorganized, sometime it's because you are juggling with so many things at a time, and for you this is still a trial. Yet have a practice that do this. And I myself, I'm giving advice, but I forgot I should have a new folder, and then if I put workshop, I should have saved everything into the workshop, So when Celine is asking that, okay, we should get a screenshot, it's easy because these are the images that we generated using during the workshop,
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, as far as your output is managed, you don't have to worry whether it's on your desktop or hard drive. No worry, it is there on your. By the way, don't forget the input. Open the input, whatever image you gave to upscale. I have given this sofa, I have given this lady, everything is there.
Oh,
I gave this
I didn't
reference
know
image.
that.
Yeah.
I know
I
output, but I didn't know the input. Okay.
Yeah, see, I gave this sofa, I gave all this model, I gave this texture to see whether it works to create some sort of furniture. So yeah, it's not always output. Also look into input, because sometimes, again, if I want Celine to give the reference, initially I took this from Google and I'm not getting it back. It is in my input saved already. You see?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. I hope I can show you the comparison. It is looking nice. So this is the enhanced flux thing. So candle looks like candle. There is another nice object placed in a tray. You don't see much distorted thing. Even look at the shadow. Look at the light. This is the upscale of flux, guys. Look at the reflection of the table to the parquet over here. Yeah, so this is how the flux thing works. Gayatri, is this what you wanted to check, or you expected the SDXL to go into the upscale?
It's easier with the flux model, so I think we can cover it in the next session. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do, because for me itself also, after using it for so long, it's very complicated to go with the upscale thing. So I always go to this workflow, which is easy, and do it, because by the way, this makes it even more high resolution compared to the other workflow. So this is it. Is there any question, guys? Yeah, Flux is super clear. Absolutely. Anything? If no one answered, which means everything is clear and you are ready to start everything. No confusion.
We will see you on the way.
Yeah.
Once again, don't hesitate to ask any questions during the session as well as in the WhatsApp group later on while trying to process this workflows. And I want to personally thank you, Krishna, a lot. Like you just spared so many hours talking and trying to give something to us as volunteer as possible. So it's a huge thanks from all of us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks to you guys to having me, and also everyone who bared with me.
It was a pleasure, I guess, for everyone.
Yeah. Please create a Discord group. It's very easy to share compared to WhatsApp.
Gayatri,
not for us.
In Turkey, we have little bit issues with these platforms. Currently, it's banned right now in Turkey. Discord, we can't use it. We have to just have to have VPN, so far and so forth. So we usually tend to communicate through the WhatsApp group from the Umai community, and we have some drive folders as well that we share link through these channels. But unfortunately, we would like to have a Discord channel as well, but currently we couldn't.
Yeah, I think that's fine, Gayatri, because I was not aware that so easily we can also share the JSON file to the WhatsApp. I thought we must need Discord for that. But after the previous workshop, when we were able to share all the files, I also got comfortable with it. So I think that solves the thing. As far as we are able to share the links and the JSON files, we are all good to go. The only thing, Gayatri, won't happen on WhatsApp is if I share you the JPEG to drag and drop into directly to ComfyUI. That's what happened, because somehow to compress the file size, WhatsApp converts that into a format that it loses the content. But then for that, we have JSON, and I can easily share the screenshot everyone to show that this is what we have generated with it, and that would do the job. Yeah. Anyone else? No questions?
Krishna, I have a question.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for all the effort again. For the ones, because I don't have a GPU on my computer right now, the one that I'm using. So I tried to find ways to use CPU. And it has been rather unstable for me. Reaching the generic user interface, etc. So I struggled with it a lot. I'm asking these for the recording purposes, actually, if you have any suggestions. And I will be suggesting the Kaggle as an online possibility to use ComfyUI. Do you have any suggestions about this?
The way, especially Flux that doesn't support CPU, they do have installation on GitHub to use for CPU, but then that makes your computer slower, especially when you want to upscale it, and then you have to use the outsourced AI platform where probably you're going to pay for the subscription. Apart from that, to make any computer compatible with all the models, including Flux, is only two way. There are other GPU rental platform, but what I used to use and I had no issue of my system crashing down was RunPod. So RunPod, and then RunPod has this option that when you choose the system, the GPU that you want to use with, if you start with only taking 8 GB of data, you can always go back and increase it, but then usually it is start with very minimal amount compared to those high numbers of, in dollars that you pay. So
I didn't
RunPod.
get the name.
It
said
is
Run?
RunPod. RunPod.
Okay.
I'm writing this into the chat box.
Okay.
RunPod. Yeah. So among all the GPU rental and cloud services that we tried, RunPod is, I would say, much less pricey. And then you don't always have to, and then people also make mistake by assuming that if the RTX, let's say they will also take RTX 4090, and then they will choose the VRAM 24 GB or 32 GB. But I see no difference if I use the RTX 3090 with 18 GB or 24 GB, and that will drastically reduce the cost that you are paying by using their GPUs.
Actually, I
Okay.
use also 3090. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it does. But as far as the price is concerned, because you are paying for it, to make it worth, you can start with this. I mean, they can start with that, and once they have the hold of everything, either they can upgrade to a system or to go to. And I wonder, because I also recently bought, I think last month only, I bought the big system. I used to do all this workflow that you see on a minimal configured laptop. All I struggled was only time. My system never crashed so far. But when I knew that they have live rendering with AI, I knew that that's the time to upgrade to a system because that will take lots of your VRAM. So for still render images, if you are not specifically trying hard for rendering videos using AI, especially with Comfy, then better to start with 3090 RTX and start with the 18 GB. From 12 GB, you can start. It will give you a good result. Even my system right now is it's 16 GB, but yeah, I'm able to render everything within the span of 20 to 25 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Sadiq has shared the RunPod link. Yeah, that's, and I would say the support system from RunPod is also great. Like they if you have any concern, you want to stop because you will initially have to put some money into the wallet they have. Let's say even you can start with the $5 or $10. If you want to pause that because you know that for this week or let's say this period of time you're not going to utilize, when you reply them, you are not automatically be able to do that. They will immediately take action to support. So the help and support for RunPod is really good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mirai is there from yesterday, even Korhan, everyone. Thank you so much again. Is there any question?
No, thank you. Thank you for everything.
My pleasure. So I guess Celine or Mr. Khan would get back on the group for the flux thing, guys.
I think we will just like have to have like a weekend as well, if everybody is just like okay with that. And as the Sadiq suggested, we will open up a poll, I guess, from that WhatsApp group to see everybody's availability. But of course, we will just like plan it up to your program schedule first. Then we can discuss the rest in the WhatsApp group for the upcoming session.
Okay, no problem. Let's chat tomorrow, Celine, and we can freeze a time for next week or so. Again, everyone, I would strongly recommend not to give up on this. It's not complicated once you understand the basic. Please keep trying, and we are absolutely available if you get stuck for anything. If we don't have solution, definitely we'll try to work on resolving that first and get back to you with the best possible solution. So keep trying.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll take your leave, guys.
Okay. Thanks again for the Krishna, everyone.
Thank
So
you,
we
everyone. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you.
nice day. Bye-bye.
Same
Thank
to you.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, Ibrahim.